Allô? Hey! Et salut critique! Merci Edson. Thank you for the follow Edson. You already drank? My god. That's good. Not too much, I hope. Because today it's downhill, motherfuckers. C'est le vélo de descente aujourd'hui. À Val di Sole. À Val di Sole. Ça arrive fort, ça arrive fort. Ouais! Oui! Oui, 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 oui. Hello, hello, salut, bonjour, 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 hello. Comment ça va, comment allez-vous? How is going? Are you ready for the downhill chat? Vous êtes prêts pour le vélo de descente là? Ça va chier. On est trop content. Par contre, il y a eu des crashs déjà, hein. Il y a eu des crashs. Il y a déjà eu des gens qui se sont cassés la gueule là. Malheureusement. Est-ce qu'on a les news sur Pink Bike? On a bien sûr Newkirk qui s'est pété le poignet ou la main, je sais plus. Mais bon, ça va commencer tantôt dans 40 secondes. Alors on espère qu'on a le son. On espère qu'on a le son parce que hier au VTT, le stream était tout pété. Il n'y avait pas de son pendant bien 20 minutes, je pense. Du coup, j'ai assassiné le support de mail. Et puis après, on a commencé à avoir le son. Yesterday, we got at the XC no sound on the stream, but I spammed too much email to the support, and 20 minutes after we got some sound. So I hope today it's gonna be fine. We will see. Not my fault. On verra. Ah, I don't know. No live? No live junior? Sorry, I'm not streaming for the junior. I don't watch it. Sorry. Because it's only junior. I know. No, I don't. I don't have the time for watching all the course, all the race. So it's gonna beginning. Wait a minute. Attendez un moment là, je dois juste paramétrer pour Discord aussi. Ah voilà. Bon, point. Ça arrive fort. Ça arrive fort les gens. J'arrive. Juste m'occupe de Discord. Dance. Hop là. Voilà. Discord c'est fait. Maintenant chez nous. Et on a le son, chat. Incroyable. On a le son. Let's go. Welcome in Val di Sole, motherfuckers.
Black Snake. Brutal.
Hey, hi from Sweden. Nice.
This track has earned its fearsome reputation over years of racing. The only question now is who will conquer it today? On your mark, start it up, get the drive. Yo, this won't be neck and neck. No more breaks. The final stretch. Don't slow down. 3, 2, 1. Valentina Hall! Destiny carrying the snake around the neck! Oh, victory in Italy! Oh, it's great! Jackson Goldstone's on a stormer here in Val di Sole. The bike is going so fast, he's just trying to stay with him. Jackson Goldstone goes fastest! Emery Piron claims the win here in Val di Sole, Trentino. Tiny Seagrave is
Amaury is out. Amaury is out.
What an incredible run. What a return. Team, it is downhill day. This gets serious. We have two blocks of racing for you today, starting with the women who go in just under 45 minutes, and then the men follow pretty much straight on. Stick around with us on TNT Sports 1 throughout the day because we have so much to look forward to. A reminder of how the men and women shape up in the overall standings. Gracie Hemstreet, after those two big consecutive wins, sits up top of the standings. Valentina Hall, last year's overall winner, in second place, and Tani Seagrave, who won the first race of the season, in third, Anna Newkirk in fourth overall. And for the men, it is Loic Bruni who sits up top of the standings, despite being beaten by Jackson Goldstone of Canada in the last two races. It is tight at the top, though. Emery Piron has hurt himself in qualifying. He will not race today. He sits in third. Lucas Shaw of the USA in fourth. And today,
no, Newkirk, no.
Josh Carlson, we have Charlie Murray, and brand new into the TNT Sports studio.
Ils sont cassés. Salut, chill. Hello, child. It's 50. Oh, fuck. It's early.
Today, she's not going to be adding any points, unfortunately, because as you can
it's
see,
the night,
you're nursing a little bit of an injury, Anna, sustained in practice. How are you doing? How's it feeling?
Yeah, I'm all good.
And you're already drunk? What the fuck?
I'm super happy to be here with you guys.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. We'll take care of you. Talk us through where you went down and exactly what happened.
Yeah, it was my second practice lap. I was feeling confident, was really excited to put down a good run and have fun. And you can see here, I was trying to hit my lines. Got this pretty good. Came into this section. I was going for the inside line to the inside of the rock. Went in a bit quick. You can see I just get bucked in this compression. Went right into the net. I didn't actually crash. That was just my GoPro falling off. But my finger got caught in the net and ended up tearing my metacarpal.
Ah,
no, I'm so sorry.
Ah, she broke the finger. Elle s'est cassé les doigts.
Time?
The doctor said I'm going to be in the cast for 4 weeks, so my goal is to
4
be
semaines.
back by Andorra in 3 weeks, which might be a bit ambitious.
4 semaines et peut-être de retour en Andorre.
I love that from you, Anna. Charlie,
We hope
we're here in
she can come back.
The Black Snake. What's so special about this venue?
I think this is one of the original, hard, physical, steep downhill tracks. I was coming down yesterday and I had to use a rope to descend one section on the side. So it's just hard to comprehend when you see the footage just how steep it is. But when you're standing on the side, it sort of drops off a cliff and all the riders, their brakes are burning by the bottom, their arms and legs, everything, your lungs. It's just really hard and unforgiving. So it's probably, in my opinion, the hardest track on the circuit.
It's going to be unbelievable to watch today. Josh, we've had some great races already this season. The last two, most recently in Leogang, won by a pair of Canadians who are looking pretty good out there. What has made them
Les Canadiens, va falloir faire attention. Canadiens, très fort. Très fort ce début de saison.
2 on the trot is no easy feat. To win one, I wouldn't say it's easy to win one, but to win a second one and to win it back to back, that's a whole nother level. I think it's almost easier to win 3 now than it was to win that first one and that even that back to back one. The way they're riding, the style they ride with, the confidence, the flair. I mean, Jackson is riding so well that he's changing everyone else's approach. And I think Gracie is probably similar. And I could probably talk to this as well, but the way Gracie rides with the level of anticipation, aggression, she's forcing the level up. Jackson's forcing the level to adapt and lift. And it's super cool to see and great to watch.
Yeah, what do you make, as we see Gracie Hemstreet on our screens now, what do you make of the way she's riding, Anna?
Yeah, she's a super precise rider. She's really good in technical sections. The steeper and the rougher the tracks get, the faster she goes. She's really good with her braking, and she's really good at putting her wheels where she wants to go and moving the bike where she wants it to go and changing directions, and yeah, just really good all-around rider.
That is quite a package of strengths for Gracie Hemstreet. Look, we've heard from Charlie about what is special about this track. We wanted to speak to some of the riders who'll be taking it on today. Let's hear from them on the Black Snake.
So what is it about the Black Snake that you absolutely love?
I think I just like technical track, steep track, you know, where you need to show how to ride, not just leave the brakes and that grip like to the end, you know. So yeah, I think I like this track, so yeah.
Oh, it's mad. Like, you basically don't see anything on the floor and you're just hitting roots and rocks, and you're like basically riding blind and just wait to react and do something. So yeah, it's really unpredictable, but it seems like the times are super tight, so everyone is going full gas. So I'm surprised, honestly.
When you see the Black Snake on the calendar,
c'est assez dur d'anticiper des cailloux et des racines. Tout le monde a l'air serré dans le temps.
Heavy breathing. That's all I'm thinking of.
Full effort.
Full effort for sure. Like every time I'm surprised that I still like arrive with my arms on my handlebar.
It's super loose.
Ils ont mal aux mains.
Offline a bit, and then you're offline.
Elles ont. Oh, il aussi, il me semble.
To keep the momentum going, so you lose a lot of speed, and yeah, it's just it then has a big knock-on effect, which is you don't really see that on the camera, but you feel it as the rider, as you're just not carrying the pace you want to be carrying.
I can't work out whether the riders are super excited or absolutely petrified for this one.
I think it's a mixture between both, a fine line, and I know I'm excited, definitely a little bit scared as well, but I think that's what gives us all that buzz.
Oh, this weekend it's just like the deepest powder dust with like the nastiest rocks and roots underneath it.
C'est vrai que si vous étiez là hier en VTT, c'était vachement poussiéreux. Hein. Il y avait beaucoup de poussière, putain. Très très sec.
I really like it. It's proper downhill track.
A lot of dust yesterday with the XC race.
Definitely not one that's just, you know, let the brakes off and the bravest one wins. It's like real track, and I think, yeah, the best bike riders are the ones that do well on these tracks, so yeah.
For me, it's the best. It's a proper downhill track. It's rough, it's gnarly, dusty. It really tests the body and the bike. And yeah, it's a sick track.
We'll keep our fingers crossed for you.
Thank you.
It is a sick track. Charlie Murray thinks it's perhaps the hardest track on the circuit. What do you reckon to that, Anna? Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. It's such a proper downhill track. It's so technical, it's steep. It's right now super loose with all the dust, really hard to see, as some of the riders were saying. So yeah, I'd definitely say it's the hardest track on the circuit.
Because last rounds we had these very fast speeds.
La plus dure du.
Yeah, people have to be a bit more.
La piste la plus dure.
Is that the right word to use about what they're doing out there on the line?
Wait to see Champéry.
Sure. It's not just like going as fast as you can, and I mean obviously it is.
The hardest race.
You're not just going balls
on
to
the
the wall.
splits.
You're like, you have to think so much more. There's so much line choice. Just
we will see with
so
Champéry in September.
Well. I think a lot of the riders are liking the slower speeds and not.
Do you remember Champéry 2011 with Danny Hart?
Does it still give you nightmares?
It does, yeah. It almost put me off
What a race.
racing for life, but it's just every run I was coming down, just thankful that I was alive. It was, yeah, scary as an understatement.
Because you're trying to deal with so many challenges one after the other.
Yeah, I'd almost rather go fast, like we saw in Leo Gang. You know, Brennan was going 70, whereas the average speed here is just over 30. But it's way more scary, even going slower, because there's so much rocks and things that can catch you out. Yeah.
That's such a good point to compare the speeds. And Josh, I know you picked out a particular bit that you think is a big challenge for these guys and girls today?
Well, I think it's a succession of those bits. It's quite a track where if you are committed and you do ride it quick, you almost have to ride it fast and committed if you don't. This upper section here has took out Jordan Williams, Finn Isles, rider after rider. We heard Luca mention from the light into the shadows, so pay attention to the shadows here, how dark that is. Now, in amongst those shadows, that dirt is about 6 to 8 inches deep, 10 inches deep at some point. You got to pick your ruts, the roots, the rocks, and the line that you choose. Underneath that dirt, you may not know what's under there, so you may be committed to what you think is the right line, but it's a different beast under that dirt, and it's so unpredictable. The commitment needed, the speed needed, you have to pay attention, and that's a big part of what a lot of riders are struggling with, is that commitment to this track. When you hit one of those rocks or roots in that duff and in that dirt, it stops you immediately, and you hit a crash netting or a rock, or we saw Finn Isles, Loic Bruni, Emery Piron. So many big names go down yesterday. Ethan Craig is just walking wounded. He's like limping around, getting ready for finals today. It's a brutal track, and it's an iconic monster. It deserves respect, and deserves all of us to stay tuned.
Great point. Good plug. Keep it TNT Sports, everybody. So that is what we're facing today in about half an hour's time. But last round, it was Leogang. Fast times and so tight in the men's elite race. It seemed only fitting. We tried to get 1 and 2 to sit down with each other and talk about how exactly that race was won.
For the Santa Cruz Syndicate, the winner of the last round goes fastest by 0.05 of a second.
They had me sitting here with you, pretty much the same distance as you beat me 2 weeks ago, so it's a little bit feeling the wound all over again.
Right, let's find out why. Let's open this up and have a look at you guys side by side.
J'ai dit, on est assez à la même distance que ce que tu m'as mis à la course précédente.
Okay. You smoked me there already.
A little bit, yeah.
I missed a bit my lane.
0.05.
I missed a bit my lane though.
I gapped up high there.
Yeah, that was
and I
sick.
think that helped a lot.
Oh là là, il lui a mis. Il l'a fumé dès le départ. Hein.
More into your run, like more intensity. I took longer to get in.
To get there. I hit these rocks pretty good. I wonder how much there. Yeah, I gained some there.
There, you were so good.
Là, il était en avance. Et à un moment, il perd de la vitesse, il me semble. Est-ce quoi, il a fini à 0,97, un truc comme ça?
I did a different line there. I gapped into it straighter.
I saw, yeah. Yeah, look at.
Oh yeah, super hard gear.
See, I was like, how did I do this?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1.3.
But there was 1.3, yeah. But here you come. This is where. Look at, you're already coming back.
Yeah, look,
so
this
look
is
at
the rollers.
Look at the speed though, 53.
It's both fast, but
See
not the same style, huh?
I think that was a good move, I think.
Yeah.
Not the same body. Bruni is fucking
you're
easy.
You're already time on me here.
You have a lot of muscular, you know?
Now we're even.
But Goldstone is
That's insane.
like this.
The triple was nice. I didn't even know you could do that until I watched you do that. Oh, it's the same.
Vache.
Literally.
Ah, it is the same. Insane. Ah, yeah, 0.2.
Yeah.
Il s'est fait rattraper sur la motorway, mais ça parce qu'il est plus léger, je pense.
I feel like I would overcook the turn if I did that.
Yeah. I just did that.
I think Bruni come back because he's more heavy than Goldstone on the motorway.
Yep, the line was better there for sure. I was struggling with that low. I couldn't ride it. And look, we're on completely different lines here too.
Same, the exact same.
Same.
Insane.
Wow.
And this is where I brake tap too long. See?
Yep.
You're already
I was on the wide line there.
Yeah,
so
and look at that.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's literally the same.
Yeah.
Oh.
So bad.
0,059.
But it goes like this, huh?
Yeah, fully. Like you were
in
ahead in the woods a little bit, and then the mountain you pulled on the motorway, though, is incredible.
Yeah. Well, it is your weakness.
Yeah.
It's always been.
Unless I gain 20 kilos, but that's
Please, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Si t'as fait la motorway, c'est ton faiblesse. Ça l'a toujours été. Ça me tue. Petite pique.
I mean, respect to our
Mais
first
c'est
and
des bons,
second
bien
place
sûr, c'est des
overall
bons.
in the men's elite for sitting down to do that. Josh, how cool was that?
Dude, it was so cool. I didn't think they'd be so friendly, to be honest. I was like,
Who's gonna win today?
that amount
Chat.
of time difference and now
Qui va
the
gagner?
fight between them. Jackson's pretty low
Je vais mettre les prédictions après. You're gonna put the prediction
he's not
on the
such a
chat
young kid anymore, but he's the next thing.
just
coming
before
along.
the race.
The greatest one we have right now, and he's been an obvious defined champion for years. And to see him sit down and
Tout est
analyze
préparé
something
déjà.
like that is super cool. The difference in those two athletes in that setting was
On a
so apparent and awesome to see.
the time for the woman
Incredibly
Q1.
detailed, analytical.
It's Monica
Every single
Hashnik
millimeter of
with
that track.
4,
Jackson
15, 100,
hadn't even seen those. Mad.
35.
Insight into to where they're at in their career.
In second, Val di Sole, Gresham Street, Camille Balanche, Marine Cabirou.
But man, what a cool moment.
Donc premier Monica, 2 Val di Sole, Gracie, M Street, Camille Balanche, Marine Caribou, Cabirou, et puis voilà. C'est intéressant comme Monica Hashnik, elle est fast. Hein. Et il me semble qu'elle est fast tout le temps au qualif, mais après, confirmer le truc, ça se passe pas.
In his 30s now, Jackson Goldstone actually feels like he's been around forever because he was doing this since he was a baby.
Yeah, I think there's definitely the old dogs and then the young pups, and they both still do really well, which is impressive. You think the old guys would start to fall off the pace, but you know, Vergier, Perron, Bruni, they're all still so dangerous. But then the young pups are so dangerous too, like Jordan Williams yesterday, really good, Jackson of course. So it makes it really exciting to watch because you never quite know what's going to happen.
In terms of qualifiers this weekend, Anna, we've got Jackson Goldstone qualifying in first, then Bruni in third. How significant is that qualifying, you know, early doors, not having to mess around with Q2?
Yeah, not having to mess around with Q2 makes a huge difference. I found that out in Poland when I ended up in Q2. It adds so much stress to your week. You're doing another full run, you're putting your body through a whole nother race run, which is super intense. Plus the points you get from qualifying from Q1, you don't get any from Q2. So those points from Q1 are super important when it comes to the overall.
Oh my goodness, such a good point. Yes, that's so significant if you're talking about the overall. These guys have got to be good and precise for the first race and then for the final.
And here in Val di Sole, you've got to do 3 runs of this track. We saw so many people come undone yesterday and barely make it through practice without one single mistake. And not only the crashes, we've spoken a lot about the crashes, but the mechanicals. Yesterday in qualifying, so many athletes came down the hill with mechanicals and flat tires and broken wheels, and it's so difficult. In the women's, Monica Hrasnik came down 6 or 7 ahead of Valley Hole, and then Gracie Hemstreet was third. The times to qualify was outrageous. So not only the risk, but doing 3 runs here in Val di Sole in particular to do 3 runs, it's not the answer.
No.
You want to get in there early and be done.
And as you're saying, you can make a statement with that Q1 run, right? If you put down a massive time, you're saying, I am here, this is my race potentially. You mentioned the crashes. It is something we need to talk about because there are some riders who are going to be missing from, some of the top riders who are going to be missing from the race today. Nina Hoffman went down in Leogang, but she is going to be back with us, qualified in Q1 here in Val di Sole. We wanted to talk to her all about crashes, what it all means.
Leogang, kind of a home race for me. I was really excited the whole weekend. A lot of friends and family there, and I think the excitement level just got a little bit too high on race day. I mean, I nailed the stump section and then the wooden kickers on the motorway already perfectly. And it was like having a lot of speed, like more than usual. We had tailwind as well, and I was excited. And I don't know what clicked in my head, but I kind of pulled off a little bit, like into this wall ride. And when it was in the air, I was already like, oh my God, what have I done? So I don't have any memory from the highest point in the air, literally. And then I just like fell on the floor. And stood up afterwards somehow. The first real memory I've got is down in the first apex.
Hoffman.
I was kind of glad that I can move everything. And then I was like, okay, my ribs are probably done. Like, they're really painful. And I did not feel my back too much. I was like, okay, well, if it's only broken ribs. The more days went and the more positive news I got from all the doctors, the more happy I was because I got so lucky. I know I can crash and I know I can get seriously injured. I know that, and I take this risk consciously. But I always know I'm trying to do as much as I can to avoid it, and I'm prepping my body, I'm doing my track walks, I'm watching my GoPros, I'm looking at all the lines and prepare for all that stuff so to not crash. That helps me to give a lot of safety feelings. And at the same time, if a crash happens, what always helps me is analyze why you crashed. Because people ask me already, oh, you're gonna be scared to ride this wall ride again. And I'm like, I don't think so, because I know what I've done wrong, and if I don't do that again, it's not gonna happen again. So it's easy to avoid. 99% there's a reason why you crashed. Find it out, take it off, don't do it again.
Ça n'a pas peur de refaire la course parce qu'elle a compris ce qu'elle a fait comme erreur.
I really enjoy Val di Sole right now. They've done a really good job to slow the track down, make it much safer. We were looking at our videos today in the group chat, and like, everyone looks so slow, but it's normal because it's a tech track finally again. We're just used to all the high-speed stuff, so it's a good change here. Yeah.
Ok, je lance la prédiction, chat. Prediction in the chat. You can use the point of the, how we say that,
and interesting, Anna, to hear about her
of the
saying,
live.
okay, you learn from your
Prediction.
That's
Who's gonna win?
We're going to see
Tell me in the
footage of
chat.
her crash from Leogang, which was a hugie. Is that how you approach it? Is that what you've got to do?
Which woman?
Like this? Yeah, for sure. Like anytime you have a fall, you have
Gonna
to
win the
analyze
black
it
snake.
and realize what went wrong. Like she said, to not be scared and to be able to hit that section again. Nina is super strong, which I think helped her a lot with her fall and be able to bounce back to be racing here.
And is this something, I guess, Charlie, everybody has to come to terms with from quite an early stage in their career?
Just crashing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, right?
But you just can't think about it. Because if you're thinking about that you might crash, you always have something in reserve and you're not so confident. If you think that you can't crash, then you are much more likely not to because you're confident and you ride faster. So it's a bit of a mental trick you got to play with your, inside your head to figure that out.
Yeah, because you know you probably could. What, you're trying to tell yourself you can't?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And when I ride the best, it's when I'm feeling like I can't make a mistake. Or I'm not even thinking about it. It's out of my mind.
Does that chime with your approach, Hannah?
Yeah, 100%. If you're thinking that you're going to crash and you're scared of crashing, you're not going to be as confident. And if you're not as confident, you're probably more likely to crash because you're timid, and that's when it's easier to make mistakes.
Oh my gosh, it's mind blowing. Is it, Josh? Is it right that you can learn to kind of crash better or to approach that different? I don't know almost exactly how to phrase it.
I mean, there is ways to crash, but at the speeds that our athletes are going now, we've all had season-ending crashes and broken bones throughout the whole year.
Season,
Charlie
just to be clear.
Charlie and I have had crashes that have broken things that have ended seasons, and you would like to think you can learn, but when you huck off the side of an avalanche full of rocks and land into a whole microwave-sized rock field, you don't really have a choice sometimes. So there is a way to do it. It comes back to confidence and preparation, and it's inevitable. We're an extreme sport. It's as gnarly as it can get. It's not quite as safe and prepared as like cross-country or road cycling, for example, but it's part of the risks. You wear the kits, you put the time into the preparation. Look at the amount of people that goes into the preparation to these runs now. These downhill, I spoke to Tracy Mosley during the week, which was an incredible insight to what it used to be in the early 2000s when she was one of our greatest downhill riders of all time. She would do it by herself. Now there's tech coaches, skills coaches, managers, people littered throughout the entire track to help with this, to try and avoid those crashes. Obviously, they're inevitable. It's part of the game, but it's how your head and your mental capabilities can deal with that.
That's what's so interesting about this sport, actually, is that you go on a track walk, you talk through like every single rock, Anna, and analyze exactly how you're going to approach it. I mean, that's almost unique in sport, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. Even though I'm on track by myself, during my race run, it takes the whole team to do well and to get a good race run down.
Yeah, and of course, in terms of that crash and return thing, because that's what the topic was that we were approaching with Nina, because she's going to be out there, Charlie. What will have been going through her mind this week in the run-up?
She'll probably be quite nervous in getting the confidence piece back, but something that a lot of riders do is they ride an easier trail, like a flow trail or something that's a blue or a green, and try and ride it really fast and then get the speed and the confidence back, and then you jump on a downward track and you're back up to speed. So if you do it well, you can kind of come right in where you left off, but sometimes it doesn't always work like that.
Well, it could be a confidence boost because she was okay. Sometimes,
entendu un français dans le-
but when you crash really,
En
really good and you
arrière-plan,
don't
là.
hurt yourself, it actually boosts your confidence and you become a little bit invincible. So Nina Hoffman
Parle anglais là, c'est terrible.
Oh my goodness, a great tip. But then you compare it with, Amri Piron making this look easy last year, and then he's out this
Doesn't take much to go wrong.
this season. Yeah.
Just every now and then you get like
Amaury is out.
Huge topic, which we could talk about
Broken
for many more hours, but we have
collarbones.
to get to a break on TNT Sports. So great to have you with us. Don't go anywhere, but we are going to be going to a quick break. On the other side, we'll have the women's elites, and in the break, we've got a chat with Greg Menard.
G'day trendsetters, we're walking through the pits and one man I've been dying to talk to is Greg Menard.
La légende, le GOAT.
So far, it was only just a couple of short months ago we were celebrating your career and now we're celebrating your new role with the Norco Race Division.
Yeah, Flip, man, it's incredible. I've been super blessed to join the team and to be in this position and man, it's been so rewarding helping these riders and then seeing like riders like Gracie rise to the top and Lena as well. So Flip, it's been amazing, it really has.
Is it so fresh in your mind, your experience from racing and the dedication to the craft and the detail that you can translate that, or is it already shifted to a brand new space?
No, it's fully involved. So that's what keeps me really busy. I get on track with the riders, try and support them on some lines. We've got a team up there, but I try and get in and help a bit and guide and also kind of strategize the race run and how we're going to plan it out. But then also coming to work with the engineers and mechanics to try and get the bike set up. So, sometimes the rider's got a feeling on a bike and you're making some changes. I can be the person to try and bounce it off to make sure we make the right change going forward. So it's pretty useful. We've got something that other teams don't have and we're trying to take full advantage of it.
You've had a great amount of success so far, especially with Gracie being 2 on the trot. Is that a pretty rewarding feeling, even though you've had one of the greatest careers of all time?
Talking about great, it's making Ginger's great again. I mean, it's amazing. It's been no, we can't. Okay. People have asked, am I missing racing or I'm in the race. It's like, I'm just not one of the jockeys anymore. And so I haven't had time to even think about my career. To me, it's like long past. Now we're all focusing on the next generation. That's what this team's about.
Wow.
il est trop nice,
the
mec.
next generation, but you've also got Danny Hart, you've raced against Danny. He's won World Championships, World Cups. Is that a cool scenario to interact with Danny in a way that you understood how he raced as a competitor and now he's your product?
Yeah, I think it's, we've always been competitors. And so you see glimpses of him and my picture of Danny racing, I've got this vision of him and riding. And so us now, we're trying to help support the riders. So try and help the rider understand their strengths and what I've always seen what was Danny's strengths and try and use those on the way down. It's also been some challenging. We're working on some development on the bike and these guys push this bike so hard. So we've seen this bike turn into shapes that we've never seen. So that's been like probably the biggest challenge. But I felt like when you've got a strong engineering team behind in-house and these guys are on, we're all on calls at like midnight after Loonville and we're making some progress into the bike. And suddenly we find something that's like a 3% change with some stiffness and a length.
Sont beaux les Norco, hein. Very nice bike.
They're super dedicated. And so this is the challenging side to try and get the bike suitable and fast.
Yeah, I can now buy one.
Pushing so hard. And Flip, that's our aim. We're going to get these guys right up
Don't
there.
tell this to my girlfriend.
I'm excited for the weekend.
Sure, mate. It's been a fantastic season so
Acheter un
far.
nouveau vélo, mais il faut pas le dire à
And we'll
la
see you
copine.
trackside.
Et enfin voilà quoi. Il faut que j'en vende en fait, parce que j'en ai 5. On a déjà vu ça.
Victory in Italy. Oh, it's great! Jackson Goldstone's on a stormer here in Val di Sole. The bike is going so fast, it's just right to stay with him. Jackson Goldstone goes fastest.
Marie Piron claims the win here in Val di Sole, Trentino. Tony Seagrave is your Val di Sole World Cup champion. What an incredible run, what a return.
Stick with us for an afternoon filled with cycling action, starting with the final stage of the
On s'en fout de la route là. Ouais, Pogacar, machin là, ça dégage. On s'en fout. Non, c'est pas drôle, c'est nul la route, on s'en fout.
That's over on TNT Sports 3. All of which is leading up to the second Grand Tour of the season.
Blah blah blah
the
blah.
Tour de France. We will have every stage live of this
Blah blah blah
magnificent
blah.
event, and our unrivaled coverage includes exclusive multi-screen access and analysis from world-class experts. It all begins on Saturday, the 5th of July. But right now, stick with us here in the stunning Val
En
di
plus, on se
Sole
fait chier à regarder de la route, non? Il y a vraiment des gens qui regardent des courses
the famous Black Snake in just
de vélo de route jusqu'au bout.
Yesterday, of course, on TNT
Oh.
Sports, we were
Je
in the
regarde le
thick of
départ
the
et puis la fin,
XCC
non? Puis après, regarde des
cross-country
best-of.
action, but
Jamais personne qui regarde une course de vélo de route en
completing
entier.
their qualifiers. There was a lot going on, and we needed to talk to some of the main players in that qualifying action.
Monica, congratulations. What an amazing run from you, qualifying in top spot in Q1. How did you manage that?
Yeah, I don't know. I just tried to ride like with flow, but actually it was pretty messy and loose. I missed quite a lot of lines, but yeah, I really love this track. So I'm so happy.
Ah man, it's wild. I mean, I was all over the place, legs everywhere. So yeah, happy to make it down and somehow second. So that's pretty decent. Super stoked for Monica. I've seen her riding the whole weekend and it looks so nice. So super stoked for her and I hope she can pull it off tomorrow.
Hattie, it's already been a pretty eventful week. You just said lots of people thought I was dead, but obviously you're in good health. Talk us through the crash yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I just got a little bit offline and got kicked, and yeah, like my shin went into rock, so I got some stitches and I'm back in one piece. So I feel pretty lucky I got away quite lightly and that I'm nice and strong to hold myself together. So yeah, I put down an okay run today, all things considered, and super excited for Monica who went fastest, which is sick. So yeah, I'm just happy to be here and enjoying myself.
Tough day. Had a crash in Q1 on a pretty good run, so that was really annoying, but that's part of it. You have to push hard to make top 20, so I just pushed a little too hard and went down, but really hope that's enough to make top 10. My run was pretty messy, but I felt like the track got quite a bit worse from this morning, so hopefully the times are just a bit slower, but yeah, we'll see.
That's my third time in Q2, so maybe I'm getting a bit too used to it. But yeah, I just tried to keep cool, and just try and crack on. It's a hard track to do 2 full runs back to back, so yeah, just tried to piece everything together. I did quite a lot of mistakes in my Q1 run, so I had quite a lot to focus on for this run, which I think kind of made it easier. So.
Q1 I crashed 3 times, just making junior mistakes. Not sure too why, and then that run then, I caught my pedal on one of the pads, and it dragged me the whole way. Then my seat was twisted, and yeah, I managed to get down, but it wasn't the smoothest day.
Some big names having to go through Q2, but some really strong performances.
Mais c'est ce que je vous ai dit avant.
These are the 10 women who went straight into the finals today. Monica Rasnik going fastest, nearly a second faster than Valentina Hall in second place, really putting down a statement. Gracie Hemstreet in third. So those riders
Les pronostics, hein, chat. Les pronostics dans le chat. Faites-le avec les points de chaîne. C'est gratuit, ça sert à rien, c'est juste pour faire un petit combat de pronostics avec le chat. Il reste 2 minutes pour faire votre pronostic de savoir quelle femme va gagner. C'est en dessous de la barre de chat ou tout en haut. Il y a un onglet prédire. Salut Flo, merci à toi. C'est avec plaisir que je partage mon compte. Hey, Antoine.
These guys went again. Sean Williams just sneaking in the bottom there at 9th place, and Daniel Castellanos will be the first man out of the start hut today in the final.
In a few moments, our
Oh, wicked to see the setting that we are in here in the TNT Sports Studio, right nestled in the coils of the Black Snake in Val di Sole, Trentino. It's great to have you with us here. And thinking about qualifying, it's an intriguing one, Josh, because as well as Matthew Harden mentioned, as Phoebe Gale talked about, some people are getting used to having to go through Q2, but it still doesn't seem to make it any easier.
No, we heard from Loic earlier in the week that said he tried to go easy in Q1 in Leogang and almost missed out by 0.2 of a second. So he was like, I'm never doing that again. And now there's a new way to go about it. I think Q1, there's a lot of effort, a lot of pressure put on Q1. You don't want to go to Q2 because it's another work. We heard from Anna before, the stress, the anxiety, the pressure it puts on the team to go again. And here in somewhere like Val di Sole, where the track is just so unpredictable and dangerous.
Ah, ils sont en train de remettre les médailles aux juniors.
Happy days. You got to go and do it again. You got to reset. You got to calm yourself down, release some of that stress. Yeah, it's quite a cool scenario. Sets us up for a great day.
Yeah, it really does. And I think about the women in particular. There's some quite cool things happening, actually. Sasha Ernest getting in, sneaking in the bottom of Q2. Any performances that really called out to you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Monica's run was really good. She's a really good tech rider. She's so good on tracks like this. She's just really good at letting the bike do its work and pointing the bike where it needs to go and just doing it. She's, yeah, really impressive, especially on this track.
Personne n'a voté. Bon, moi je la relance. Personne n'a voté là, le chat. Vous me trollez.
Today, if you had to pick, is she your pick to win this?
I wouldn't count anybody out, especially on this track. There
she is. Go on.
I think it's anybody's race. I would love to see.
Ah non, mais du coup, je vais leur faire.
I'd love to see everybody else win too. Like, everybody's really cool, and everybody's riding really well. The women's field is super strong, and yeah, I can't count anybody out today.
And some people, Charlie, just a quick word on the men's. We have got the key ones or the top figures who are missing. Kind of is due to crashing and I guess mismanaging of qualifiers. Would you call it?
Yeah, I guess it's just hard here because you have to ride safe, but you can't hold back in Q1 if you want to get straight through. So we saw a lot of big names like Finn Isles had a massive crash. Luckily he's in one piece, but it was, he knows how to crash well and he's strong. So all that prep in the gym, I think, is to prevent the crashes that a lot of these guys are, getting away with. And yeah, Perron, gutted to see him out too. So yeah, a few big names missing out.
Yeah, prep in the gym, important for qualifying, important for our studio as well.
Je relance la prédiction, chat. Cette fois, vous votez, hein.
Right, we're going to see the course from
Josh's
perspective. Intrigued to see what you made of this one, Josh.
Non, ça va commencer dans quelques minutes. Ah bah voilà, il parle de la course.
Val di Sole, one of the most iconic tracks of the entire season. It is rough, it is fast, and it puts the fear
Prédiction,
into
la
every
prédiction.
single rider. The details need to be paid attention
Prediction
to.
in the
Let's
chat.
go and check out those details right now.
Ah, c'est bon, il y a des gens qui votent.
The upper section of the Val di Sole track is surprisingly simple, but you have to pay attention to the details because there's a lot of time to be made before we get stuck into the steep and deep right here. We're here at the first piece of the puzzle. Now, the upper section of the track is somewhat similar, but this track has seen a huge evolution over the years. As we come into this rock garden, it goes across the hill here and down through the big slabby rocks that we've seen year after year after year. Now, this is a crucial part because it sets up the entire next part of your track. You're into the steep and deep. You must stay calm, and this is where the business happens. This is where it gets serious. Let's go and check out the next bit now. We're here at the first piece of the puzzle. Now, this track in Val di Sole has seen a huge evolution over the years, and you can see how much line variation there is. This brand new section changes the way that this all filters together and lines up. This is the start of the steep and deep. You must be calm here. You must be precise and set yourself up well before we get stuck into the next section. From the upper section, we come out under the lift. This is a reasonably easy section and an opportunity for our riders to rest before it gets hectic again. It may seem calm, but you still have to be precise and recover after the second half.
Wow. Elle est violente, hein?
So we've seen a fresh section up top, a couple of fresh corners, a cheeky rest in the middle, and now we're back into this key section, the old track of years past. This was last year.
Ah.
Now we've got a couple of brand new corners, so the
Nouvelle
speed will
partie.
be higher through here. This will change the dynamic coming in. It'll also change the dynamic coming out, because as we come back in to the original course here, it gets back into the steep, back into the super gnarly rocks, the big hectic routes, and the exit speed you carry from here will go all the way to the bottom. We're almost home, but this last key change will be crucial. It's off camber, it's slippery, and it's at the point of track where your arms and your breathing, everything is on fire. You must pay attention here, you must be precise right when the track is at its most difficult and you are physically
C'est un coin difficile, ouais, parce que
Let's get to the bottom.
t'es déjà bien fatigué, quoi.
Few key changes on this year's Val di Sole track, but the gnar is still there and present. It's going to be an epic race day. We've got a couple of huge jumps to finish. Let's leave it to the riders to bring us home, and we will see you trackside.
Yeah, we certainly will. And we've got just about 5 minutes to go until the women leave the start.
5 minutes, 5 minutes.
Reminder of your standings
5
from the women's
minutes.
elite. Gracie Hemstreet with those
Plus que 5
two big wins in the last 2
minutes,
rounds.
5
sitting up
minutes.
top, last year's overall winner, Val di Sole in second. Tani
C'est long, hein.
Seagrave is in third place, and brilliant.
Ah, ça vote, c'est bien, ça vote. Prediction in the chat, guys.
Not to be racing today. She's
Vote
got
someone.
broken hands. Camille Ballon
Put your
in
tickets
fifth.
on it.
Anna has
No, it's
left
weird,
us to go
not
to
real
commentary, but we've got
money.
a couple of minutes to
It's just
speak
for the
about the
contest
women's race
between
before,
you,
the first
guys.
women goes. Now, a
Votez
reminder that last
qui va
year's
gagner.
winner here was Tani Seagrave in one of the most, well, it's a huge breakthrough for Tani Seagrave winning here in such a challenging course after so many difficulties in her career, concussion, coming back again and again, and there was a real explosion of emotion, it felt like, when she reached the finish.
Ah, c'était très
What do you make of her chances
d'une émotion
I think, like you said last year, this sort of
non
stamped her
comparable,
return.
je pense, pour Tani qui revenait de moments très difficiles, puis elle avait gagné. Du coup, c'est très très chouette pour elle.
Being able to slow down on the steep loose bits. And I was actually surprised to see her a little bit further down in qualifying.
Yeah.
But maybe she had an issue that I don't know about. So,
Ah, on va voir qui c'est qui commence.
I'm always betting on Tane. But I think
Ernest
today, on this course,
Bouladou,
goes well and she has a calm, collected head,
Scarcy,
she'll be dangerous.
Lewitt,
Yeah, what do you reckon,
Gail,
Josh? 'Cause obviously she's won the first
Friedman,
race of the season, and then
Ferguson,
it's not been the top talent
Seagrave,
that we've seen over the last
Hartnen,
Well, I think it's easy to
Hoffman,
forget her crash in
Cabirou,
Ludenville. She had that big
Balanche,
issue right before practice, and I think that
Herbstreet.
hurt a little bit more than she is telling us. And when you come here to somewhere like
Lashnik.
Val di Sole, maybe Leo Gang, you can get away with that.
Magnifique.
But here, maybe there's something there. At
Je
the
me demande
same
qui va
time,
gagner. Hein. Moi,
maybe
sur
the
qui je mettrais mon ticket, moi.
laid one down yesterday and just put in a heater of a time. This track is very difficult. Tani may
Parce qu'on
have
va
played
dire.
the patience card just to get through it, make sure she survived through
Ah, je mettrais sur
qualifying. No one
Balanche. Hein.
wants to crash
Je peux pas
here
voter,
because,
mais je
as we
mettrais
saw with
Balanche.
Anna, as we've seen with Emery, as we've seen
Camille
with
Balanche.
Finn, all these other riders, it can really take you out quickly. So, yeah, Tani is always a threat, and especially having those good vibes from last year. But I think Valley's going to really step up today. I think today's maybe a day for Valley. Monica's going to have to deal with the pressure.
Il faut
of being
voter,
number
le chat,
one,
hein.
And Gracie's
Votez.
right there. And
Votez avec vos points de chaîne.
you have to
How can
think
you
about
bet against Gracie
You have to.
Hemstreet after what we've seen in the last two? Monica Rasnick, though,
Qui
well,
sera le
Anna
roi
was
des
very
points
eloquent about
à la fin de
exactly what
l'année?
she's bringing to this.
C'est ça qui va être drôle.
What do you reckon to her today?
Est-ce que je peux savoir qui a combien de points? Ça serait drôle de faire un petit podium là à la fin de l'année.
That's your ace. That's your joker card even. So, yeah, I think if she can deal with that pressure of being the last woman down the hill, that's going to be the hardest thing for her to overcome today. I know she can ride it well. I know she can probably do a time that's
Comment
the
je peux
quickest,
savoir?
but can she manage the pressure?
Oh my goodness me. We know that the mental game is absolutely massive in downhill mountain bike racing. We're about to get you to your commentary team, and just a brief reminder before we do, that friend of the show, Miriam Nicol, will not be racing today. She is out, unfortunately, with concussion, but we have a star-studded lineup of these women heading out of the start hut to take on the Black Snake. I've got goosebumps, guys.
Me too. I can't wait.
The music is going down pretty big behind us. This is a huge race in the middle part of the season. We're going to find what these women are made of with your commentary team, led by Rick McLaughlin.
Je crois pas que je peux faire un podium de... Je chercherai. Ça serait drôle de faire un petit podium de points de chaîne. Ouais, ça va commencer. Let's go.
Representatives Nico Mullally as ever, and Anna Newkirk. Anna not racing today. Tell us what's happened.
Yeah, I had a crash in practice, my second practice run. Actually, I didn't crash. I ended up in a net and went in.
Oh no! How long's what's the sort of prognosis then? How long you're going to be out for?
Yeah, so it's my metacarpal that's broken, and the doctor said I'm going to be in a cast for 4 weeks.
Guys, let's go.
Well, let's head to the top then.
Ça commence.
And get this elite women's final off and running. Sasha Ernest.
J'ai chaud au cul de nouveau, je transpire du cul, faut que je change de chaise.
Getting ready to get us going here in Val di Sole, Trentino. Sasha Ernest leaves the star hut Nico and sets about this slightly tweaked version of one of the most ferocious downhill tracks ever put together.
Yeah, this top section is pretty straightforward. The riders need to just get in their groove here, but at the same time not really give up any time. There's not a lot of technical stuff in comparison to what's to come. She did a good job of missing some of the braking holes there, but just kind of set the mood for the rest of the run.
And Anna, this place, it just disintegrates over the course of a week, especially when it's this hot, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. With the dust, the track just gets so blown out. It gets super rough, really physical track, really hard for the riders to hang on.
Makes it through there nicely. Ernest missed the first finals of the year, Nico, but she seems to have got to grip now with the Q2 format a bit more, the young Kiwi rider.
Yeah, she's raised her game. I think this whole new format is making everyone better. Of course, the races where you do miss it, it's frustrating, but it's stepping up the level of the sport.
Waouh.
Yeah, Ernest.
Les 300 leçons de retour.
Round 2 in Ludenviel.
Ah ouais, c'est poussière de fou, hein.
She won as a junior, and fair to say, this place.
Va pas falloir se dire que ça glisse pas, hein. Faut vraiment se planter méchamment.
Yeah, for sure. It's honestly a pretty scary track to ride and to race, especially in these conditions with how rough it is, how blown out it is. So many hard technical sections.
Ah, c'est ce qu'elle vient de dire. Faut pas se croire que c'est facile parce que c'est très sec et dur.
Yeah, that
C'est une
bridge there
piste
is a
très
welcome
technique.
spot. You can kind of loosen your grip for a second and take a deep breath before you drop back in for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, normally we're used to, as we said in the junior racing, we're used to seeing this place that kind of at this time of year it heats up, and then there's a storm and clears the air and just gets a bit of moisture onto the track. But this week we've heard the storms further up the valley, but they've never arrived here, and it's just resulted in this dust bowl we see before us today.
Yeah, the terrain here is pretty soft, like the natural terrain.
C'est quoi le temps de référence? C'est
it gets chewed up, and underneath that
4
nice
minutes
soft
15.
loam is a lot of big roots
long,
and
non?
rocks from these pine trees. So it creates a pretty lethal
4
combination
minutes
when
15, c'est
you
long.
get 200 bikes on it, all braking hard in the same place.
Anna, you wouldn't have seen as many of the changes as you would have liked, probably.
Yes, c'est la nouvelle partie, il me semble.
What you saw out there?
Yeah, I only got
Ah non,
1.5
peut-être pas.
laps in, unfortunately, but the track
Non,
was
c'était pas
so
ça.
fresh. There's so many new sections, which is really good. I think a lot of riders like the new sections. A bit of change, especially on a track that we've raced so many times. But with fresh sections, it just changes so much. And when it's dry like this, the track develops more than it would normally.
Allez, la petite caméra entre tes arbres.
54.3 kilometers.
Est-ce qu'il y a notre caméraman bourré là, que d'habitude?
Bike slide now.
Yeah, she's one of the riders we saw take that outside line there. In the junior races, we only saw 1 or 2. She's having trouble recovering from that one, getting her foot back in the pedal. But she tried to go outside of the holes. In the deep holes, there's a better rut and more support to turn on, but it's a lot rougher.
Elle a lâché un pied. Ah, elle est assise.
There's less support and slid out, had to take a foot out.
J'ai pas compris, elle a un problème au pied?
She wanted to get her foot back in and get back on pace.
4:15.1 then is the benchmark quali time from Monica Rasnik. Big ride that yesterday from Rasnik, Anna.
Yeah, super exciting to see. She's really good on these tech tracks. She's super precise with her braking. She's really good at just letting the bike eat and putting it where she wants
Ça
to
m'a
go.
pas l'air
So
fou là,
super
comme ça
exciting
pour le
to see her
temps.
qualify well.
Je pense pas que ça va être dingue.
Definitely buoyed by that. They've been in the wars this season so far, the new squad on the Gamlux bikes. See Sasha Ernest through the final steeper sections of this track now before they head out back into the open, and Nico, the speeds increase from the Val di Sole sign onwards.
Oh yeah, it's pretty much, I mean, if you want to do it right, death grip, no brakes off that.
Je vais mettre comme ça je me souviens. Allô?
Verso il suo traguardo, spinge sui pedali lunghi di metri, Sasha Ernest.
Ernest crosses the line in 4:29.
Ah, la prod de fou là.
Give us our benchmark time, as I say, 4:15.1. Fastest qualifying time from yesterday. Next up, Lisa Bouladou, the national champion of France, leaves the Star Hop.
Salut RPX. J'espère que tu vas bien. De rien mec, ça me fait plaisir.
4.9 seconds faster. The four split, Nico, is coming together here for me.
Yeah, I think that's the sector where we saw that mistake.
On a eu un petit bug de la prod, hein, c'est pas moi. Hein. Moi, je suis un professionnel du stream, perso, le son, l'image, tout marche. Hein. Professionnel. Bouladou qui nous fait 4-15, 4-15, ça va être difficile là. Hein. Et pas dans le top. Alors un bon run de Bouladou, mais ça va pas suffire malheureusement. Après, elle est jeune et tout, donc ça va aller, ça va aller. Malheureusement, ça va pas être suffisant pour Lisa. Mais bon run. Scarsi. C'est parti, à la maison, à la maison. Donne tout, Gloria, donne tout. T'es à la maison.
She then brushed it off in the press conference, 4.3 seconds back at the four split, and said, I've ridden with worse injuries, it's fine. So a tough cookie, Scars.
Il y a encore les prédictions. 1 minute encore pour les prédictions de chat. RPX, si tu veux prédire qui va gagner, c'est maintenant. Et dans les points de chaîne en dessous du chat, il faut prédire qui va gagner. Pour gagner des points de chaîne, ça sert à rien, c'est juste pour le contest. Mais 13-50 secondes, je te mets pas la pression.
Corner made famous by the Australian in 2008 at the UCI World Championship. Scarzy accelerates now towards the bridge.
Ah, c'est pas assez non plus pour Scarcy, dommage. Mais elle est arrivée en bas vivante parce que Black Snake, hein, Black Snake c'est difficile. C'est parti pour la première British, c'est ça? Mais, ah non. Nouvelle-Zélande. Ah, on est bien là, moins 8. Alors peut-être, Est-ce que ça va être notre temps de référence? Allez. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Et notre temps de référence, 4-12, les amis. New time.
I'm not surprised to see her do well there. She's really good in these conditions, in these tech tracks.
So Jess Blue in the hot seat.
Phoebe. C'est quoi cette trompette? Arrête! Arrête! Ah merci, putain. C'était quoi ce bruit de trompette de fou?
10.8 back on Blue already though, so she may have been down here, Nico.
Yeah, can't really notice anything there. She looks to be smooth where she's riding. I think Jess just absolutely
plus 10.
That time that she set was no joke.
Ça se passe mal pour Phoebe. Très bien sur la course, mais mal en timing.
C'est
vrai qu'il est beau ce jump. Hein. Les mecs, ils vont s'envoler de fou.
The further you get down the track, the rougher and harder it gets.
Yeah, Jess Blue at 5th last time out in Leogang, so the form has been building. You see that 4:12.5, 4:15.3 was the fastest quality time of Rastix. We're already comfortably underneath that. 14 seconds back for Phoebe Gale, slight shake of the head. Orbea FMD star. Next up though, former Italian champion.
Hitzman. Les petits restes, hein. D'une époque, là, le nom de famille. Bref, revenons à la course. C'est parti pour Widman. À la maison. Ah, on est déjà à la fin, on peut pas regarder la course. Merci, la réalisation, c'est super, hein, merci beaucoup.
10.1 seconds back, so Blewett's put an absolutely huge effort in there, Anna.
Yeah, her time was really good. As I said, she's so strong in this track. We've seen her do really well here in the past. She qualified first here last year, but then crashed and broke her wrist, so it's really cool to see her put down a good run.
Nico, we talked a bit about it during the junior race, didn't we? As we see Lou Ferguson getting ready to go.
La pose avec les yeux en l'air.
It's a special kind of track. This rewards that all or nothing, winner takes all mentality, perhaps more than anywhere else we go to.
It is. I'd say it's the most technical track. If you asked all of the riders, they'd agree. And this year, with a lot of fresh sections, it's just somewhat inconsistent. It's loose. There's a lot of roots and rocks under the soil that you can't see. So I don't think anybody's going to have a perfect run here today. It's going to be who can maintain mistakes and keep on pushing even if you do.
Lou Ferguson rider on screen now. 5.5 back at the third split, had to do it the hard way in Leogang through Q2, but came back through to 10th place in that race on that prototype intense bike with the gearbox, transmission, belt drive. And we saw in the junior races that the gearbox bikes like this place, Nico.
Yeah, and yesterday as well.
C'est vrai que les gearbox là, ça doit être pas mal, hein.
A lot of gearbox bikes up front. I think it's so rough here. It's so
Le nouveau système pour remplacer les systèmes de vitesse actuels là pour la chaîne, c'est un bloc comme un peu, je sais pas comment dire, un peu comme les motos. Voilà, c'est exactement un peu comme les motos. Et puis tu as une courroie qui est fixe et les vitesses sont changées dans un bloc sous le pédalier.
That's a great question. I think having good support through your suspension is super important. Having good wheels.
L'avantage, c'est que tu peux changer les vitesses sans problème parce qu'il n'y a pas de tremblement ou quoi que ce soit. Parce qu'avec une chaîne normale, bah, t'as la chaîne qui saute dans tous les sens, c'est le bordel quoi. Ok, ils sont contents. Ils sont contents, ils sont contents. Ah, the Queen.
Yeah, Lou Ferguson looking good in 2025. Next up though, Tani Seagrave. Seagrave won here last season. A trio of wins here, in fact, 17, 18 and 2024. What can she do today? Tani Seagrave leaves the Star Hut for FMD Orbea. Looking really, really aggressive right from the start. We rejoin the run live.
You can see how many roots and rocks are in that section too. I mean, it's hard to see at home how technical the tracks are on video, but this is one that you can start to get a perspective for.
1.7 seconds faster. It's split two. And Anna getting that win here last year, it's really sort of turned Tani around.
Ah, le drone, il doit s'amuser aussi là-dedans.
Last 8-10 months or so.
Yeah, for sure. I think that gave her a lot of confidence. She's been riding so strong this season, winning the first round in Poland, getting on the podium in Louisville, and clearly riding really well here too again.
Yeah, as we just wait for her through this sector, just blows wide.
Ah non, elle est sortie. Aïe aïe aïe, oh elle est sortie loin. Je me disais que c'était bizarre qu'elle passe à côté du timing. Oh non. Ah non, j'ai vu quelqu'un qui a voté. Non. Je crois que c'est toi, c'est ça. Ah non, t'as voté Home Street. Ok. Oh le son.
In Val di
Ah, c'est
Sole,
bon.
Trentino off and running again, Nico.
It doesn't seem like there's something wrong with the bike. I mean, I wondered maybe low tire pressure or something, but I don't know, Anna. That's not really the most technical turn on the track.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Ah, ouais.
The dust is probably super deep.
Oui, j'ai vu ça aussi, ouais. Et il y en a pas beaucoup qui ont, il me semble, hein, ce système. Ah, raison, ça aussi, ça existe. Je crois pas qu'il y a un valet de descente. Et aussi Ah non, excuse-moi. Non, c'est un vélo de descente, mais je suis pas sûr qu'il y ait un VTT. Je suis pas sûr que c'est beaucoup utilisé en course. Il y a encore des prototypes, il me semble, non? Oh non, Taniel est sorti.
31 seconds back at the fourth split. I'm told that our live drone had its own crash. It was a rocket hit, not Tanny, thankfully. Seagrave, though, on that Orbea Rallon. In amongst it in the overall points battle, but
cool.
really losing some distance to Gracie
fait en Europe, c'est
thanks
chouette.
to those back-to-back wins for Hem Street. Tanny currently in third as we started today in that competition. So this could be a big advantage to Seagrave. Down over the line in one piece.
She's going to lose a lot of points today. It'll be interesting to see what the overall looks like.
Next up, though, Hattie Harnden for Aeon.
Tu fais ma chie encore dans le chat là, t'es pas en train de faire du sport? Ma copine, je lui manque tellement qu'elle vient me voir en live. C'est vrai, moi j'aurais bien aimé qu'elle soit là, commenter avec moi aussi. C'est un événement avec le boulot.
Tony Seagrave waits for his daughter.
Wow. Bien de style, hein.
FMD boss.
Hattie took the outside.
Hattie Harnden slides out.
Oh non.
Val di Sole, Trentino.
Ok, plus de peur que de mal, mais comment elle a fait?
Yeah, she just got outside of the support here. There's somewhat of a groove in the dust.
Aïe, ça glisse, hein, ça glisse. C'est pas parce que c'est sec que ça glisse pas. Rappelez-vous, ça peut vous servir. Oh merde.
Like sooner or later, she's going to put this together.
For sure, she's a super strong rider, and it's just a matter of time.
Nina Hoffman for the Santa Cruz Syndicate talking about
Ils sont beaux,
a
hein.
rider who's been in the wars. We heard from her earlier in the show. Huge crash over the top of the wall ride last time out in Leogang, and
Oui,
someone
vrai.
got away with it, Nico.
Je sais pas, t'as pas vu ma chie au début, mais ils ont montré le crash de Monica là qui passe par-dessus le wall ride.
At the start of today,
Incroyable. Ok, on est à 0,8, ça va, c'est ok. C'est ok. On va pousser un peu plus pour essayer de repasser dans le vert, mais sinon on est bien.
Yeah, I mean, 8/10 back there. I mean, she's perfectly in touch through the rest of the track to make that back.
Ah non, c'est lui le caméra bourré. Mais travaille un peu là, il reste sur son trépied, il reste comme ça là. Il tourne juste la manivelle. Putain. Il a un métier de fou là, et puis il fait de la merde.
This is another section with multiple line choice. She goes low there. You'll see some riders stay on our left of the track, lookers left, across all the routes. But opting to go for the around line, carry more momentum.
Anna, great to see her all right, and not only all right, but competing this weekend after that huge smash in Leogang.
Yeah, 100%. It's so good to see her back, like riding well, feeling good. She's such a strong person.
C'est pas le meilleur endroit pour utiliser le drone, hein. Je veux dire, ça fout un peu la gerbe. Hein.
Yeah, she's found 2/10 of a second at the second split. Front wheel just gets pushed right.
À partir d'ici, ça va. Et tout le début, bof.
Motor in here in Val di Sole, Trentino.
That may have been a mistake. I'm not sure if she planned to go left to that rock. She was going for the outside, but I don't know if she went to go that far outside.
Into the left-hander now for Hoffman. Fans lining the Black Snake as ever. Race day here in Val di Sole, Trentino. A special day on the downhill calendar.
Ah, dans les plantes. Les fougères.
Good here, Nina Hoffman.
Elle est bien, mais ça manque. Il faut un truc qui fait la différence. Il faut tenter un truc un peu risqué qui passe là, histoire de repasser dans le vert.
Yeah, reminder, Jess Blewett still in the hot seat. We've lost split free, but apparently because Tanny Seagrave took it out in that
Putain, comme ça
crash. So
crie.
Steve Pete watching on at the bottom. Hattie Harnden, I should tell you, is in second place with that run despite the crash. Lou
Voilà,
Ferguson's
voilà
currently,
l'image.
but that second place is by 7.8 seconds. Such is the run put down here by Jess.
Oh la vache! Comment elle a pris 5 secondes là comme ça?
With such a big margin, I think Nina's got a really good opportunity here to go on to second, and then hopefully, with not so many riders to come, still a good result for the day.
This one may hold up, Steve Pete, as I
Comment elle a pris
say,
5
watching on.
secondes? C'est ouf. La dernière partie, ça a l'air d'être la plus dure, hein, parce que il y a beaucoup de contrôle. Je pense que bon, mal tes virages, tu négocies mal la vitesse, bah, tu repars pas vite, quoi. Ah, t'as vu? Ils ont un truc dans le col, là. En aéré. Ah, ils sont beaux aussi.
Made that switch to Canyon Collective this off-season.
Pas gagné au loto là.
Fourth place last
Ils
time
ont acheté 2-3 vélos.
in Leogang for the French woman. One here back in
Quel parti
2019.
pour Kabirou, les mains en l'air, le chat.
Yeah, the season's been a steady build for her so far. I'm sure she'd like to continue that trajectory in the right direction.
She's one of those riders, Anna, as well. She's strong every week, Marina, isn't she? She's just, it doesn't matter what the track's doing, what the weather's doing. She's a second quicker here at split 2.
Ah, il me semble qu'elle aime bien ce genre de
For
course.
sure, she's a rider that you can never count out. She's so consistent and she's always up there.
4 left to go then. Balanche, Hemstreet, Hull and Harasnik yet to take on the Black Snake here in Val di Sole, Trentino. The 4th round, the UCI
Elles sont pas
Downhill
beaucoup les femmes aujourd'hui en
World
fait.
Cup this season. 10 rounds this year as well. More than
Et
we've
elle
ever
a sauté
had.
un peu les marches là.
There, we saw some of the other girls opt for the left line, and she gets a really good pump and drive, which carries you all the way down this whole next straightaway.
The team manager Gabe Fox looking on. 1.5 seconds now faster for Cabirou ahead of that time of Blewett. So for the first time, starting to look like it's in trouble. Marine Cabirou going to work here in the woods.
This will be the section where we can see what she can do. I think
Mais c'est après les fougères, ça se gâte hein, en général. Là, elle a augmenté le temps. Parce qu'elle est plus rapide dans ces secteurs-là, mais...
Super far out to the right hand side, gets really close to that tree on the way through there, makes it work for her. Fastest sector time
Ouais,
so
ça c'est dur.
Cabirou, Blewett.
Ok, ça a l'air d'être bien, ça a l'air d'être bien.
She was so strong down the bottom of the track, Anna Jess Blewett.
She was, yeah. She carried really good
Ah, là,
speed,
c'est cette
especially
souche,
in the
tu
bottom.
perds du
Seems
temps
like
de
she's
fou.
able to hang on, but
Oh.
it looks like Marine
Ok,
is doing
ok.
really well too. 2
Yeah.
seconds up.
2.2 seconds up.
Ok, la
Cabirou
grue.
is having a
Et
great
les
time in
caméras.
the woods here in Val di Sole, Trentino. A woman from Millau in France.
She took a tight line there when she went around that rock. She hooked it right and gave her a straight exit out of the woods.
Marine Cabirou looking really, really good here in Val di Sole, Trentino. Is she about to be the first woman to displace Jess Blewett from the hot seat here this afternoon? Here comes Marine Cabirou down the line now. Cabirou sails the final jump, crosses the line and goes fastest by 2.2
4-10.
seconds.
4-10 les amis.
In the hot seat for Marine Cabirou with a 4:10.3. Times now comfortably underneath that fastest quality time of a 4:15.3 from yesterday.
Nouveau temps de référence. Ah, Balanche, ouais, la Suisse, la Suisse. J'ai pas un petit drapeau?
Camille Balanche next up for Yeti Fox.
Non.
Anna, what do you make of that run for Marine Cabirou? It looked pretty good from where I was sitting.
Yeah, Marine had a really good
Non,
run.
je sais pas,
It looks
j'ai rien.
like she'll be really
Allez,
happy
la
with that.
Suisse.
I don't think she's had the results she's wanted to this year, so she should be stoked.
Here comes Camille Balanche then, Swiss rider. For Yeti Fox pushing a massive gear out of the star hut there.
Allez, Balance, allez. J'ai voté pour toi. Dans ma tête, parce que je peux pas vu que je suis l'organisateur. Mais j'ai voté, j'ai voté. Hey, Tacho, merci pour le follow. Thank you, Tacho.
In amongst it here, Balance,
Taco.
we talked about, back
See,
end
she
skips
goes
out.
through this inside line there. There's a big route you have to jump.
Yeah,
and her back
okay.
wheel obviously got hung up on it.
Ok,
She
ok,
still
ça
made
drift
it
un
through,
peu là.
but
Allez, Balanche.
took a little bit of speed.
The top 5 currently.
Toujours debout.
Jess Blewett led for so long. Then Nina Hoffman currently last rider on the podium. Then Harnden, despite having a crash.
Allez, 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 Camille, allez.
In there in 4th. Camille Balanche. on that prototype Yeti bike.
She goes outside. This is an opposite line from what Marine did. It's a little bit faster entrance, but the exit from the inside line gives you more drive down the straightaway.
Je sais pas, je trouvais moyen cette partie, mais allez, on y croit. Timing.
Big pull down there from Balanche. 3.2 seconds back though, Anna. It's moving away from.
Je savais que c'était moyen, fais chier.
Really strong through these middle sections. Kami's riding really well
Ah,
too.
3 secondes de merde.
I think a lot of that was
Allez,
that
pousse, on y
hang
croit
up on
encore.
the route that we saw higher up.
Good example of just how this place can
Allez.
just speed when you least expect it, Nico.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably 10,000 routes just like that on this track.
Detonating their way through the dust now. You can see the body starting to stiffen slightly from Camille Balanche as those impacts starting to take their toll.
Looks like she's doing a good job of putting that behind her and charging on, though. She looks solid in this last section.
By this stage, Anna, I'm guessing your body is just absolutely on fire.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a physical track. You get to this point, your
Chier.
hands are barely hanging on. It's hard to brake. It's hard to modulate your brakes when you're this far down into this run just because the arm pump is so bad.
Bon, c'est un beau run, hein, c'est un beau run. Et il fait chier, quoi.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're breathing out of your eyes at this point. It's
Je veux que ça soit,
really physical
je
track.
veux que ça soit mieux.
Camille Balanche then sails off the Red Bull.
Podium, là.
Through the Sam Hill turn.
Nothing like feeling like that while you're riding the most technical track of the year.
Yeah. Here she comes, Camille Balanche. Just one jump to go. Cabarrou currently fastest with a 4:10.3. What can Balanche do? Balanche does 4:16.7, 6.4
C'est
back.
en plus
Damien Smith.
la dame qui est passée dans la cam. C'est plus long que la
Another
Q1.
solid weekend for her. She's been super consistent, right around, like, I guess, a 5th place average sort of finish this year. I think she'll be right around that today.
There's Cabarrou. Jess Blue has her feet up on the podium steps already.
Elles étaient posées, elles se sont fait griller.
Gracie Hemstreet free to go. And this woman is going for her third
La
in a row.
petite goat.
Norco Race Division, young Canadian woman coming of age in front of our eyes in 2025.
Alors, qu'est-ce qu'elle va nous faire? La bûcheronne canadienne.
In the woods when things get steep and technical, she's got nothing but woods and steep and technical in front of her today.
Yeah,
Va-t-elle nous découper ce Black Snake?
These last 2 races, I mean, for her and Jackson, both Canadian winners, you wouldn't expect them to have a win on a track with so much flat motorway. Now they're both coming to a track that has almost none of that, so it'll be exciting to see what these runs look like from both her and Jackson today.
Ouais, je me méfierais, hein, je me méfierais. C'est vrai que le motorway, c'est un peu leur faiblesse, mais dans la forêt, ça va tabasser.
She's really coming to her own this year. She's riding so strong. In practice, she always looks really good on the bike.
Oh, le live!
Ludenville and Leogang, she obviously did really well. She excels so much on these steep, rough tracks, so it's going to be exciting to watch her race.
So Rachel Afferton won 3 in a row back in 2016 amidst a perfect season. Afferton won here in Val di Sole, Trentino as well 3 times for GT.
0-6, ça va.
Oh!
Elle a perdu du temps là.
Looked like she made a few mistakes, one right there, right after the split. But I'll say she's really good at making mistakes and just putting them behind her. I wouldn't say at all that she rides sketchy, but she rides loose. And when the bike's moving side to side, it doesn't seem to bother her.
Yeah, she definitely rolls the dice. We saw that the last 2 rounds. Leogang and Ludenville when she was so dominant, and that's why she's wearing that green jersey of the overall points leader. Next up, Valentina Hold, and there's only one rider left after her, Monica Hrasnik. Hemstreet on course though.
Did a good job of running that high line there.
Ok, c'est pas mal.
It's hard to hang on to,
C'est quoi le prochain
especially at
time?
race pace.
Moi, je pense qu'elle a perdu un peu, mais... Oh, arrêtez de marcher sur le câble.
Third at the world here in 2021. Does like this place.
C'est pas fini, ma chérie. Aïe, aïe, aïe. Peut-être c'est fini. Ça veut rien dire, ça veut rien dire. Le plus difficile, c'est la fin. Et on a remarqué que Hemstreet, il y a 2 courses, elle avait fait un comeback de fou à la fin. On sait jamais, on sait jamais. On va voir, on va voir. Rien n'est perdu, ce n'est que le deuxième timing. Tout est à faire maintenant. Faut qu'elle pousse dans cette roche, dans cette caillasse, dans cette merde, dans ces racines. Poussez, madame, poussez. Hop là, elle saute, pas mal. Ok, ok. Allez, 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 allez. Elle a perdu un peu, elle a perdu un peu. Elle a perdu un peu. Peut-être qu'elle a mis un coup de pédale là. Peut-être qu'elle va revenir, mais j'avoue qu'à l'intermédiaire 3, ça va être difficile de revenir là. Les fougères.
Gracie Hemstreet floats across from one side of the track to the other, sets herself up really, really wide for the entrance into this left-hander.
Ah, ça roule fort, ouais, c'est clair. Elle roule très très bien.
She hit that right really clean. It's a hard turn. It's really tight. It wants to stall riders out, and I think she's.
C'est qui hurle comme ça, putain? Alors, ce souffle de merde. Voilà, il faut relancer vite. Ok, ok. Oh, elle s'est pris un petit coup dans l'avant là. Ah, ça va pas le faire, je pense. Voilà, voilà, voilà. La différence était à faire dans la forêt parce que la motorway, ça va pas le faire.
Round that left-hander, body stand absolutely motionless, tucks down behind the bars. Is it going to be free in a row for Gracie Hemstreet? She'll have to have done something really, really special for that last split to get it. Hemstreet heads down the line.
Elle nous fait une deuxième place. Bravo. Et c'est bien, deuxième place, c'est bien.
Second place, Nico. A lot of points as things stand.
That's solid. I mean, for where she's at in the points,
C'est peut-être un podium pour Hemstreet. Ça va pas être facile à chercher, mais il reste 2 ou 3 femmes, je crois, là, capables de la déloger, dont Val di. C'est ça, il reste 2. Et il y a Monica après. Monica, elle a fait un super temps à Q1. Et si elles se battent toutes, je peux vous dire qu'il y a moyen de la dépasser. Hein. Si elles battent toutes leur temps de Q1, Bali et puis Monica risquent de dépasser Camiro. Hein. Peut-être pas, mais il y a des chances.
She's really good at tech stuff. She's so precise. I think she's probably the most precise out of all the women. Just watching her ride is just nice. She puts her bike where she wants to go, and we don't often see her make big mistakes.
We haven't seen her take a UCI World Cup win in a while, Nico. Was it alarm bells a little bit at YT, do you think?
I don't think so. I mean, the competition level is so high this year. Everybody's stepped up their game to try to catch up to Valley, and they've been able to match her. And I don't think you need. It's a long season.
Ok, c'est face dans les cailloux là.
Maybe not the win she wanted, but
le vélo qui bouge bien. Travaille. Ah, stylé. Ça m'a l'air bien, ça m'a l'air bien. Très agressive. Mais il va falloir l'être jusqu'au bout, hein, parce que la fin c'est difficile. Elle est capable.
Looks like she rode that really well.
Just a reminder, one rider left at the top after Valentina Hole. Monica Harasnik, the fastest qualifier from yesterday. Valentina Hole, though, is currently up at the first split. Nice entrance through there.
She rode that top sector really clean. I think it's going to see her extend a little bit.
You can hear the fans roaring her on. So popular everywhere we go with the UCI Downhill World Cup. Valentina Hole. Really aggressive style on the bike. Really stylish in the air as well.
C'est long l'intermédiaire de ah mais c'est lui le caméraman fou là. Ils l'ont mis là. Il tourne juste son truc comme ça là.
She's not pushing too hard. She's just super clean and fluid.
7/10 of a second. She's found an extra 10.
Ok, elle a trouvé un peu de temps encore. Bien, elle est bien. Hein. Elle est bien. Hein. Potage, je pense que t'as parlé un peu vite. On sait jamais, on va pas la sniper, mais je pense que t'as parlé un peu vite, Potage.
Valentina Hole taking on the dust of Val di Sole, Trentino.
C'est effectivement vert.
Monica Harasnik waits at the top.
Allô. Il y a les arbres qui coupent le réseau. Allez, allez, c'est bien, c'est bien. Ligne un peu différente des autres ici.
Which currently needs to survive this woman on your screen now, Valentina Hall.
Tellement fast que les caméras n'arrivent pas à la suivre. Allez, elle perd du temps, elle perd du temps. C'est ce que je vous disais, la fin de la course, c'est compliqué. C'est compliqué, c'est compliqué. Allez, il faut y aller, il faut y aller. C'est vraiment la fin de la course. Avec ces deux petites remontées là, il faut vraiment pousser. Hein. La première. Ok, c'était pas mal. Aïe, c'est rouge. Le deuxième, allez là, il faut relancer tout de suite. Ah, ces deux remontées.
Unbelievably tight racing here in 2025, the UCI Downhill World Cup, given the track that they're being faced with today here in Val di Sole, Trentino. Absolute dust bowl, blowing apart, full of rocks, full of roots. Valentina Hall exits the woods.
Adieu mes points.
Sneaks one pedal stroke in there. Valentina Hall heading down towards the line now for the YT mob. 58, 57 kilometers an hour. Here comes Valentina Hall. Is she headed for the hot seat? Valentina Hall goes second.
Ah, elle poussait le street à la 3e place. Est-ce que Street, alors bien sûr au podium c'est 5, on est d'accord, mais est-ce qu'elle va sortir du top 3? C'est fatigant, elle est fatigante la course. Hein.
At the end of the track, through the kind of the last minute, there's some tighter turns that Marine carried really good speed through, was able to keep the bike rolling. I think that where she got some of that time gap that we see at the end.
One rider to go, and it's the Slovenian Monika Hrasnik for Aon Racing. First time as a fastest qualifier for that squad. Hrasnik, best qualifying here. Beat her 2022 performance, a second yesterday.
Really cool to see them in this position. I mean, it's a new team this year. It's a big effort for Reese Wilson and all of his support crew. So to have a win in qualifying and start last.
Elle est partie pour la dernière rideuse, les gars. Est-ce qu'elle va le faire? Est-ce que Monika Hrasnik va-t-elle détrôner Kabiru?
Absolutely, I can respect how much work goes into it. So.
You know what that inbox looks like, don't you?
Putain, elle a mis un petit moment à arriver sur l'image. Oh non, oh non.
I hope the best for her today. She looks really good on track.
Monika Hrasnik on that Gamux bike.
Oh là.
Swiss engineered.
And these bikes have looked really good this weekend from all the riders. I mean, the track being this rough, they're going for obviously a more comfortable ride. The bikes flex more. They're heavier with the gearbox, the weight distribution, and on this track, they look like they're excelling under these riders.
Hrasnik half a second back at the first split, going for her debut win should she get today. Couple of third places here in 2018 and 2024, but
she goes to the outside line in this fresh section, a little bit different line from the last two riders, but sets her up, able to carry more momentum around it. It's just a game of distance versus speed.
And Anna, this is a track that really suits Monika, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. She's done so well here in the past. She got third here last year. I believe in 2018 she qualified first. Also got on the podium, so really good on this track.
0,5 c'est pas... C'est ok, 0,5 c'est ok. Hein.
Hrasnik heading towards split 2 now on that Gamux for Aon Racing.
Ah, ça tabasse. Hein.
She looks aggressive.
Yeah, looks really good. Compact on the bike and making that big Gamux work for her. Should also put in the traditional reminder, there's €100,000 up for grabs for the first elite level rider to win a UCI World Cup with a gearbox and belt.
She might be on for it today.
Yeah,
this could be a big day in the career of Monika Hrasnik. Saying that, she's 2 seconds back off Marine Kabiru.
Ah, 2 secondes.
Kabiru, is she about to get?
Je disais qu'elle avait pris certains chocs, tu sais, ça l'a retenu, tu sais, un peu. Et ça, bah, tu perds des microsecondes à chaque fois, quoi.
With Miriam Nicole and Tanny Seagrave in the overall wins tally.
Not really seeing any mistakes here from Monika. She looks like she's having a really smooth run. kind of sticking to her game, which is sometimes hard to do when you qualify first and you have that added pressure.
On va voir, mais je pense que c'est mort, hein, parce qu'avec les 2 remontées à la fin.
Inside the top 3 and no more.
She didn't quite get the jump out of that root section that some of the other riders did. So,
like getting chopped around underneath her there. Rasnik.
Ah, elle a retrouvé du temps. Hein. Elle a retrouvé du temps, mais ça va pas être assez. Hein. Je pense que ça va pas le faire.
Yeah, she looks aggressive. She looks like she's still hanging on.
Est-ce que Potage avait raison?
She doesn't look too fatigued either, which is good. She's still able to push, which I think is super valuable on this track, not to get too tired at the bottom.
She rode that last section really well. We don't have a great perspective of it with that camera angle, but it's one of the harder, more awkward turns, and it looked like she carried really good speed.
Really neat and tidy on the bike, but aggressive at the same time. Monica Harasnik on course here in Val di Sole, Trentino, the last rider in this elite women's race, having qualified fastest yesterday. 1.3 seconds back, so she's found another half a second. She's going to have to do this one the hard way.
Elle rattrape encore, hein, elle rattrape encore.
Really good bottom sector and qualifies,
Et impossible de rattraper une seconde. Hein.
Kabiru can barely watch. Is this going to be win number 10 for her or win number 1 for the Slovenian on our screens now? Monica Hrasnik for Aeon Racing heads out into the light here in Val di Sole in the Valley of the Sun. Takes flight. 2 more corners to go. Monica Hrasnik on the move now. Can she get career win number 1? Is this going to be her debut victory at the UCI Downhill World Cup? Monica Hrasnik takes flight, heads towards the finish line.
C'est fait 3. Oh, elle a poussé Street. Oh.
Career win number 10.
C'est Kabiru qui gagne.
Monica Hrasnik into 3rd place though, behind Valley Hole.
Et personne n'avait voté Kabiru. Personne n'avait voté Kabiru. Aïe, aïe, aïe.
Marine Kabiru celebrates with Fabian and Gabe. Taking nothing away from her at all, Nico. That was a great run.
Yeah, I mean, she executed really well. She built through the run. She rode all the gnarliest sections super well.
Marine Kabiru gets another win. Her first for the Canyon Collective. Huge reward for that team. Look what it means.
Belle course, belle course.
Aeon Racing.
Allez, je rends les points parce que personne n'a trouvé. Ici, c'est comme ça, c'est généreux jusqu'au bout. Je rends les points.
Here's how she did it, Nico.
Smooth start.
Écoutez, je dois juste aller me chercher à boire. J'arrive.
And made her time up in the most technical sections. There's more time to gain down here, so you can kind of focus your energy and be smooth where you need to apply it all to these harder parts. You're going to gain more time out of that.
Her last win came back end of last year in Mont Saint Anne. Again, a very, very tough hillside. The wins in Val di Sole, Trentino matter just that little bit more amongst the racers, don't they? That's a big place to take a big scalp.
If you can say you won Val di Sole, they know you're legit.
Kabiru, Hole, Hrasnik, Hemstreet, Blewett, Balanche, Hoffman, Harnden, Ferguson, Bouladou, your top 10 by 13 seconds. But Canyon Collectives, Marine Kabiru is down there in the finish area with Ashley Wilmot now. Let's hear from your race winner.
She does it again. Marine Kabiru, congratulations, your 10th World Cup victory. And you just let out a big sigh of relief. You've been waiting to get to the top of the podium this season, and it feels like a long wait.
Yes, of course, my beginning of the season was not super good for the moment, so I was fighting a bit to be on the podium and at the top again. So I'm really happy to win today. It was a really challenging weekend. I tried to push, the track was really destroyed, so I give my best, and finally that paid off.
You were 5th in qualifying. You weren't happy with that. So what changes did you make ahead of today?
I just tried to push even more and just to find a better flow, because I did too many mistakes yesterday and I just don't feel good on my run. So I just try to relax, enjoy, and take some good momentum on my bike, and I'm just happy.
There was so much speed, especially through the tight corners. Is that something you were working on?
Yeah, of course, I really like the last part of the track, so I try to push even more on this section because I know I lost a lot of time. I did a big mistake at the top, so I didn't think that will be the run for the win, but finally it is, so that's just good.
Back at the top, well done.
Thank you so much.
The win in Val di Sole, Trentino. We last saw her on the top step in Canada. She knows how to win a World Cup race, but this is a huge victory for the French woman. Here in front of these very well-versed fans, in front of her teammates, in front of the riders who know exactly how hard it is to win on the Black Snake. What a run from Marine Cabarrus. Some of the earlier runs we had, Charlie, we're looking at Jess Blewett. You know, she's putting down a big time. There were gaps in there. And Marine Cabarrus herself just mentioned that she made a mistake. She didn't feel like that was the perfect run, but she did enough and she kept her head.
Yeah.
Is that the key to it?
I think so. I think, especially here, it's almost impossible to do a perfect run without any mistakes. And because she made that mistake in the top part of the course, we'll see a little bit of it here, maybe that helped her raise the intensity and think, oh, I've got something to make up for. So then she pushed harder on the bottom half of the course. So maybe that played to her strength. I don't think a perfect run really exists.
Yeah, and we got Anna Newkirk just coming out of commentary and joining us underneath this run here. Talk us through it as you saw it, Anna.
Yeah, it was a really exciting race to watch. Marine had such a strong run. She rode really well, top to bottom. She said she made some mistakes, but I think everybody did. It was really hard not to make any mistakes. She rode really well at the bottom, didn't look too fatigued, and that's how she got the win.
Yeah, it wasn't, you know, there was a gap there of 1.2 in the end between her and second place, but it was a really strong and serious performance, Josh, and we talked a lot about how technically capable you had to be here, and that is something that Marine Cabarrus has in spades.
And she really made it happen in the splits that really counted. That second split, I think she executed those really gnarly corners well, exited well, didn't get hung up, and she was able to capitalise on that on the bottom half of the track. So very impressive ride. She obviously had the form there. She rode well in qualifying yesterday, and now to come away with a win on a track that has claimed many. I think that adds an extra little feather to the cap to claim a win here in Val di Sole.
Yeah, she's going to need another cap for all those feathers. Speaking of which, Val di Sole finished in second place. So that's more of a composed run from her. She hasn't come out of the blocks fast this season, but she should, Charlie, you think, be pleased with this?
I think so, yeah. She's kind of heading in the right direction, and like you said, it's been a little bit of a slow start to the season, but we know that Valley's got the skills and the strength to do it, especially, you know, on the track here in Val di Sole. So, yeah, she'll be happy with that. That was a really clean run, pretty much textbook.
Pretty much textbook. Okay, so keeping the runs clean was the key to success here in Val di Sole, because as Josh mentions, it's claimed a lot of riders who've made little mistakes. And then in third place, of course, Monika Rasnik, who we spoke a lot about in the build-up, because she has exactly the skills needed to do well here on the Black Snake. Anna, what did you make of her run?
I mean, it looked really solid watching it. I spoke to her briefly just now, and she was like, oh, I almost died.
Oui, c'est Marine qui a gagné.
Yeah, she looked
Oui, bravo, oui,
really
bravo.
solid ride from her. Really stoked to
Magnifique.
see her come in the third.
Mais je dirais que Marine, Vali et puis Hoffman, je trouve, c'est vraiment le genre de gabarit qui peuvent encaisser toute cette caillasse, racine, etc. Elles sont vraiment assez fortes. Du coup, je pense que pour Goldstone, ça peut être difficile aussi. Et par contre, pour Bruni, vu qu'il est plutôt bien baraque, ça va tenir. On va voir pour les mecs, mais je pense que ça va être pas mal. Je prévois du plus les chiffres.
What a ride! Incredible.
Yeah, and you can see there were tears in the eyes of quite a lot of the Aon Racing, like support staff and team, because that's what it means. We've got the podium going on behind us just now as we see the top three riders. Aon Racing, Monika Rasnik getting her third place finish for the first time with this new team.
Pourquoi tu fais du ping-pong derrière?
Winner settling for second place, but still a great performance and a lot to think about, leaving a lot for the rest of the field to think about. And then ultimately, your first place finisher, it is Marine Cabarrou, conquers
Ah, un
the
petit
Black
Loris.
Snake
Ouais.
in 2025.
On va en faire le podium après là. Le podium, putain, qu'est-ce que je dis? On va faire la prédiction. Ah, faut que je prépare ça. Je vais vous préparer les pronostics. On va faire ça. Gonna prepare the prediction for the men.
Early and crashing and burning, so I hope this is just the beginning for her this season. And last year she had 2 World Cup wins. There's no reason she couldn't have, 2 or 3 this season. So I think this will be good confidence for her.
You can't see it behind you, but Josh is just trying to catch the champagne cork, which resulted in it smacking me nearly in the face. We'll leave you just there on that while we get to a break. And then on the other side, well, it's a few minutes' time, we will be building up to the men's race. The men are going to be out of the start hut in just about 5 minutes' time. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back on the other side.
Alors, il faut juste que je me mette les riders là. C'est quoi les vainqueurs de la Q1?
Just a mistake. Like, I think I've been trying to get my bike working for these bigger and rougher tracks. We've still got a lot of process to go through. I think we got so lucky at the first round that everything kind of aligned. And yeah, since then it's been a bit difficult, but we're working on it, and sometimes that's just going to happen.
The conditions are so difficult out there. There's been mixed
Avec Loris 4e, hein. 4e au Q1.
Probably like the hardest it's been in terms of like unpredictability. All the fresh stuff is amazing, but we can't predict the weather, and it's so dry, just like the last 2 rounds, and the track just gets obliterated. So loads of holes, yes, new stuff coming up each run. So, yeah, difficult conditions for everyone.
Thanks for your time.
No worries.
Ah, j'ai mis le top 10.
It was there until it wasn't. Talk us through that.
Yeah, I just lost the front on a section right at the top. Just was cutting inside, and yeah, the front wheel just drifted a bit, and I lost it. So a bit gutted because they're right on pace. So it's a bit frustrating, but I'm happy to know that I'm going fast enough, and yeah, I've got some fastness in me.
Does that make you hungry for the next couple of races, Lutweel and Andorra?
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited about the next ones, and yeah, I mean, even despite my crash, I'm glad that I still giving it a good crack. So yeah, just glad to have the team around me, and yeah, Aeon with Monica coming down in a bit.
Il n'a pas chaud avec son chapeau là.
So I'm going to be watching closely for that.
Le micro qui marche plus. J'ai préparé avec le top 10 de la qualif 1. Je vous laisse 30 minutes pour faire vos prédictions. À vos points. Prêt, votez. Bref. Voilà, la prédiction est lancée. Vous avez 30 minutes pour choisir qui va gagner. Val di Sole, prediction on the chat. Who's gonna win? Tell me. I choose the 10, the Q1, 10 person first.
We have had the women's elite. We've got the men's elite to come in just about 2 minutes time. Don't forget, if you missed any of the interviews in the break,
Avec Casimir, PX, Potage. Faut aller voter là. C'est l'heure d'aller voter. Machi aussi. Faut aller voter la prédiction là. Misez vos points. Et misez juste. C'est gratuit, ça sert à rien, mais c'est pour le fun.
I've already said this before, I'll say it again. I can't look past Jackson Goldstone. If he gets down smoothly, I think it'd be probably the fastest time of the day.
Okay, I mean, and does anything about seeing Gracie Hamstreet so knocked off the podium today, not managing to produce the same kind of ride 3 times in a row that she was, and the very different track?
Ouais, ça met 500 points de chaîne sur Loris. Ok, j'aime ça.
And we know Jackson's good on this track, so I think he'll be a bit more relaxed maybe than the last couple of races.
Ça y croit, je crois savoir. Ah ouais, c'est Casimir, il est chaud sur Loris, rien à foutre.
It's hard to count Jackson Goldstone.
Très bien, j'aime ça.
I think we could see Troy do really well too. This track definitely suits the lighter riders just because it's easier to slow down, easier to change direction, but it's definitely going to be an exciting race.
And that technical
Si vous l'aviez raté, vous voyez bien que Anna Newkirk ne pouvait pas rouler. Je n'ai pas besoin de vous expliquer pourquoi. Si, bon, ok, 2 doigts cassés.
But that's what makes it pretty exciting. We've got about 30 seconds until we get to
Et le poignet aussi, je crois.
I won't throw your hospital pass and ask you another question, guys. I'm going to get us to our commentary team. We are here in
Je sais pas si je fais les
Italy.
qualifs. Alors, je pense qu'ils vont nous faire un récap, mais je vous ai mis dans les pronostics dans l'ordre les 10 premiers de la Q1, qui est Goldstone, Brostad, Bruni, Verviers, Callaghan, Maple, Craig, Kolb, Coulange, d'après là. Et la Q2, je peux pas faire plus de 10 personnes pour le pronostic, désolé. Mais la Q2, il y a Pierre-Antoine, Mino Fernando, Juan, Shaw, Hauser, Britten, Walker, Soir, Revelli, Williams, Castellanos. Voilà, c'est ça. Donc peut-être un petit Antoine Pierron là, on va voir.
Nico Mullally and Josh Carlson. Boys, this is one of the big ones, isn't it?
What a day. Val di Sole. Mate, after that women's race, oh my goodness. I am so terrified, nervous, excited and sweaty for this one this afternoon. Yeehaw, boys.
It is possibly the
Ah, puis vous avez à l'écran
in human history and here at the minute,
la start
Nico
list.
Mullally, but this one means that bit more, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is the one all the riders want to win. This is the toughest race of the year, the toughest track. If you tackle this one,
Mais on est parti, chat. Ça commence, on n'a pas le temps de niaiser.
Our first rider today, Daniel Castellanos, Liberal, about to get
Chaque 13h, mais bon app. Si vous avez déjà mangé, digérez bien.
Down slightly, but it's no less ferocious up there.
No less ferocious, and the commitment to the lines is really, really intriguing. These early couple of corners, there are some ruts up high, but it's all about the exits. And now coming into these huge ruts, coming into the berms, there are so many sharp rocks and ghoulies in there to really ruin your day before we even really get started. As we drop down, obviously, this is where the business starts.
J'ai mis 30 minutes pour le... C'est un malade.
Nico, this is it, isn't it? It's an all-out assault on the body.
Ah, mais je peux terminer les votes. Ok, c'est bon. Ok, ça va, ça va. Peut-être que j'arrêterai les votes un peu plus tôt. Sinon, il y a triche. Oh, wow.
Buckle somewhere in there. Castellanos Liberal
did a really good job of hanging on to that one. That's the same place Finn crashed, if anybody's seen the video.
Le temps de référence chez les hommes.
A new line where you kind of jump over the corner of a rock to enter a fresh section.
Josh, they've changed things slightly as well. Now, I'm going to use the next set of words. Everything's relative. They've slowed it down in places here, but they've just made it more accurate and more difficult, really, haven't they?
And I think the way it's developed, it's so dry here, it's so hot.
Zombieland vient de s'abonner, merci pour ton Prime, bro, merci beaucoup. Thank you, bro. Merci pour ton Prime, thank you. Love from Spain, thank you so much, bro. I love you.
All of a sudden, 3-4 inches underneath that you can't see, there's a rock or a root or a hole
Appreciate it.
to bring you off guard. I mean, I was up there today with Nico when Ace Evermet did the same thing in practice, and all of a sudden, bang, he was on the ground. And that's exactly what happens here today. And this afternoon with the light, there's a lot to consider for our athletes on the hill.
Nico, I mean, look at the shots now. It's still coming at you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of sections in this track that are going to define the race today. Normally, we look at one place, but I think in this track, it could be anywhere. It really doesn't let up with how technical it is.
You've been around the team all week, obviously. Frameworks 5 Dev. What, if anything, can you do in terms of bike setup for this place? We said earlier on the junior race that nothing really feels good in Val di Sole Trentino. It's so rough.
That's something important to remember. Like, I haven't heard one rider say they feel good or the bike feels good on the track.
Okay.
It's just everything feels bad because it's so, on top of it being so rough.
Spain guy is so hot, man.
They're smoked and they're hitting some
60 kilometers.
61 kilometers an hour through there, Josh, already in the elite men's race.
Yeah, speeds are
Ça va vite, hein.
way up as they come down through.
Ils vont se tuer. Comme d'hab, les mecs vont se tuer. Hein. Et j'en ai marre. Oh, ils vont se faire mal.
It is just horrendous coming down there.
Absolutely, this place getting detonated. We talk about it every year that it's a really dry, talcum sort of dirt here that when it gets to this level of dryness, it just fills all the holes, fills all the gaps in the rocks. Very, very hard to see. And once the light comes out, the sun gets to the top of the yard arm in the middle of the day, it becomes really, really hard to see through this dapple section.
Castellanos looks like he's on a good run here. I think oftentimes these Spanish guys, they're really used to this kind of dusty, dry condition. They ride that in the summertime, and it looks like that he's excelling.
Goes absolutely huge off that final Red Bull drop then. Daniel Castellanos, Liberal, heads towards the finish line to get us our benchmark time for the elite men's race here in Val di Sole, Trentino. Crosses it.
3:47.061. Malheureusement, c'est un peu plus que Goldstone.
As well, he might be next
On verra.
up though. Jordan Williams for Specialized Gravity.
If his run goes to plan today, he might be sitting in the hot seat for a while. He's looked amazing in practice. This bike's looked like it's worked really well for him. Just had a rough day yesterday.
C'est vrai que le vélo spécialisé, hein, dans les cailloux là, il va bien travailler, je pense. Hein. On l'avait vu l'année passée à Fort William. Je crois que c'était Fort William, je sais plus. Il ne bouge pas le vélo. Hein. Il reste droit comme ça, les suspensions sont là. C'est assez incroyable.
And then he had to stop, kick it off, and carry on again. And he's still qualified through Q2. We've spoken about how difficult it is just to make it through and how tight the times are. He had a major issue like that. He may not have hit the ground, but it cost him a lot of seconds, and he still made it through. So that's an indication of just how quick he's riding, just how well that bike is working. And look at the speed through that section in there.
Jordan Williams setting her down.
C'est bien, c'est un bon run.
3:42.2, Jackson Goldstone's fastest qualifying time from yesterday. We've seen that time go in the junior men's race already. So times as ever, really, really tight in 2025. But Jordan Williams, Nico, this is looking good to me.
Yeah, I haven't seen any mistakes out of him. He looks like he's riding really composed. Yeah, good drive out of this section.
Maintaining good speed. Jordan's got a great amount of leverage. He had a fantastic couple of weekends just gone. He's obviously got his podium out. He won in 2023, which
Ok, il a perdu un peu de temps, mais c'est fast. Hein. C'est toujours fast.
And now to see him maturing and growing into that speed in the elite ranks is really cool to see.
1.1 seconds at the third split, 61.2 kilometers an hour through here.
Les fougères, j'adore ce plan avec une fougère. Hein. Vraiment meilleur spot caméra.
Ever elite downhill World Cup for the first time of Askin and Lenzerheide a couple of years ago. Injuries sort of stymied him last time out, but Jordan Williams looking like he's back at the races again in 2025. He's getting better every time we see him, Nico.
Yeah, he looks really solid this year, and it's tough to come back from an injury like that, missing so many races. All your competition gets better while you're off. So coming back, getting a podium already, and riding as well as he looks on track, I think that's a really good win for him.
1.5 seconds at split 4 for Jordan Williams, third place in Ludenville.
He opened that turn up a lot, which will give him he checked up to do it, but it'll give him a really good drive out of the woods here.
Also on the brand new bike from Specialized, he was not on the same bike as Finn and Loic last year, so a huge improvement for him technically.
Jordan Williams heads down towards
Je sais pas ce qui est mieux là sur ce saut. Est-ce que c'est mieux de rester en l'air ou de sucer le piste pour rester le plus possible bas? À mon avis, je pense que ça peut être pas mal de voler sur celui-là.
Good time that, Josh.
That's a solid time.
Nouveau temps de rêve.
3 seconds faster than his qualifying yesterday and smooth.
Ravelli. Allez, Ravelli à la maison. C'est le moment de faire briller la patrie là. Faut y aller. Faut que j'arrête avec les chips hein, par contre. Qui pourquoi vous m'avez pas dit de pas bouffer des chips? Faut plus m'arrêter maintenant. Jesus. Je me dépêche de finir comme ça, après c'est bon. C'est rouge, hein. C'est bon, j'ai fini.
He's raced all different kinds of formats over the years. Ravelli, real veteran campaigner. Riding that Santa Cruz V10, making the track as wide as he can as he enters that right-hander.
Really cool to see guys like him still mixing it up in the final.
Ravelli down towards the line then, third place. 6.3 seconds back of the full factory effort of Jordan Williams on that specialized machine.
Au moins, il est arrivé vivant en bas.
Nothing to be ashamed of that from Ravelli. Next up, though, Ollie Zwar, Orbea FMD Racing. Josh Carlson's not in his approval
Sweden.
already.
Now, I know he's got a Swedish flag on his arm, but I'm
Where is the Swedish people on the chat? I saw you before.
In qualification yesterday, he crashed in Q1, but he made it happen in Q2. He's been riding well all week. And even though he did crash, he was still right on
N'oubliez pas de pronostiquer. Hein. Pronostiquer le chat. Prediction on the chat. Who's gonna win?
Swedish, Australian, whoever wants to claim him, he's headed for the hot seat here. Ollie Zwar for Orbea FMD. Tony Seagrave, his team manager, watching on. Had a huge smash in Q1 yesterday. Not a bother to him. Home by half a second. Ollie Zwar, fastest in Val di Sole, Trentino.
That's a good time from Ollie. Good recovery.
Pas mal, hein?
He's been
Pas
really
mal.
happy with that brand new Orbea downhill bike and been playing with a few prototype tyres throughout the last couple of weeks, which I really think has helped him out here today.
Next up in the start hut then, Matt Walker through into finals for Trek Factory Racing.
Now another team that's been in the wars this week. The Trek Factory Racing team has definitely been taking a few soil samples from Val di Sole home with them. Matt Walker came down with a flat tyre earlier in practice today and a destroyed wheel, which has been the flavour of the whole week.
Yeah,
so great to see him survive to the finals and be charging here today.
10th of a second up a split 1/22nd last time out in Leogang, but Walker goes down in that left-hand corner, and Nico,
Oh merde!
we're going to see a bit less today, aren't we? Lines just not being there anymore by the time racers
Bon, ça a l'air d'aller. Le principal, c'est qu'il soit pas fait mal.
It's hard to see over that rock, but you take a really awkward left turn into a flat turn with no support, and the clean line's super narrow. So it's only a few tire widths wide, and if you're outside of that, there's just loose debris and you slide out.
Is that a section, Nico, where you can switch off a little? There's obviously, you can't switch off on a track like this, but you have to meter your effort. Here we go. Let's have a look.
You're braking and then going off this ledge. I think you just carried too much speed. You have to check up more for that turn to be able to get tighter to it. He went outside the line, and where he landed, he slid out. It was just too wide.
Oh, it's a sore.
But it is your section. It might be not one that you're rehearsing in your brain as much as the more technical parts.
Here comes Joe Breeden then from the UK for Axis Intense. A rider really finding a nice bit of form this season. Oh, that's a huge smash from Joe Breeden. Sets the bike
C'est quoi? Il a des feuilles?
off the bars. I think that's just some.
Is that just a bit of a dangleberry? His bike's not moving too much there, but that section is extremely steep.
Yeah, I don't know what. I think it's a bit of flora or fauna, maybe both. And yeah, that front wheel. As maybe the fortune twisted Josh just by the look of what he's doing.
Ok, il va bien, he's fine. He's okay. Oh, heureusement, il a fait une belle roulade. Il a fait du judo dans le passé. Oh là là.
Or you go wide, so a really risky line. The exit is somewhat smoother, but that is the risk.
On va next, hein. Il est ok. Plus de peur qu'à de mal. Ah, mais ils vont se tuer, putain. J'en ai marre. Chaque fois, ils tombent tous.
And watching this guy on track, he's been taking a lot of creative lines, high lines, getting out of the rough stuff, and sending it.
D'ailleurs, qui c'est qui a des news de le Comte, Loana Le Comte. Qui c'est qui a des news de Loana Le Comte? Elle est allée à l'hôpital hier.
This double jump over the rock there is a line that claimed Finn Isles. We keep talking about it, but it is a hectic section.
0.8 of a second at split 1 for Christian Hauser.
He runs the outside there. I don't think we'll see as many riders on that outside line where Joe crashed on the inside, but he carried really good momentum through it.
Hauser 16th at the second round this year in Ludenviel, his best to date. So looking to do a bit more at his home round here in Val di Sole Trentino.
Is swinging off the back of it at the moment.
Yeah, great rider to watch, isn't he? One of that squadron of younger
riders. Roulade d'un cascadeur, c'est ça, c'est exactement ça.
Teammate Ollie Davies out injured.
Interesting line there too. He jumps the route after the pad and then goes middle over a rock, misses some of the holes on the outside. So he's getting really creative with the track.
Clears that section that took out Matt Walker earlier in the race. Really just opens the knees up, doesn't he, Josh, and lets the bike move around underneath him.
He is feeding it at the moment and letting that leverage of his legs.
Ça roule bien, ça roule bien.
All of the bumps and the bike.
Et je pense pas que ça va être assez.
We heard an interesting stat from the hit device crew.
Ah, une seconde là.
Like Benoit Coulange and the lengthier riders.
Oui, Ok, he's fine, he's fine. Oh là là. Oh là là, ça s'annonce chaud, hein. Tout le monde.
Wasn't as much impact. Look at this, the early setup. These routes through here are sideways as ever into a GR corner. Just enough. There wasn't
la tête dans la poussière là.
Oh man, what a bummer. That's where Asa crashed in practice, right?
Yeah, he slid out there. There's just so many routes. Going all different
calmez-vous, calmez-vous les mecs. Calmez-vous, pitié, pitié.
In the gear, Luca Shaw.
Ah, Luca.
Forever the dark horse. This one, well, just like just about every track, will suit him.
He's had it. It's been there. He's just got to put a couple of pieces of the puzzle together.
Les Chandouines réussi à terrasser. C'est ça. Le terrain est miné, les gars. Le terrain est miné. Oh! Un petit saut là, j'ai apprécié. Ah mais là, c'est tellement. Il y a un tas de poussière, vraiment. Tu sais, le marchand de sable juste là, quoi. Tu t'arrêtes trop, tu t'endors.
How does Lucas Shaw make this stuff look so smooth?
He's just effortless, isn't he? I really enjoy watching Luca ride. He's got really great speed at the first two splits on many tracks we've seen so far this year. He needs to pull it together towards the bottom. It's not a fitness thing. He is by far one of the strongest and fittest dudes out there. He's been riding well, and obviously that Canyon bike is working phenomenally. We just saw Marine Cabarrou put it on top of the box. Troy Brosnan was our second fastest qualifier. They've got something cooking under the Canyon Collective tent this weekend.
It's all meshing, isn't it, down there at the minute? Luca and his mechanic Jim, just both two really, really chilled out guys. He's 900ths now, back, but still very much in the hunt here of that fastest time set by
Salut John, merci pour le follow. Thank you for the follow, John.
Jump across the line there. Huge from Shaw. Nico, that is supremely difficult through there.
And Luca's so good on that. I was going to say, as effortless as it looks, he and his mechanic, he's one of the most disciplined guys. He lives right down the road from me. But when we ride together, one of the things that's notable about Luca is he may not always show all his cards and push the pace, but he always does the most technical lines on the track. And he's so good at those tech lines where he's got to gap something like he just did here.
Look at the light through here, Josh.
Yeah, and that section's what claimed him in Q1. I saw Fabian Burrell up there earlier, really paying attention to that line to carry some good speed into the bottom. He's slightly falling back now, but as we've seen on runs already, there is some time to be made here in a crucial section.
Mais j'ai hâte de voir le cap parce que comme je l'ai dit tout à l'heure, pour ceux qui viennent d'arriver, il y a deux petites remontées qui piquent tout le monde dans le temps.
Bit of a huckabuck through the trees there, brand new bit where you can kind of take a little breath, but right now, this is where everything is on fire, everything is pumped up. You need to take a breath. If you can be anticipating what's coming here, this is where Loic Bruni went down, but Emery Piron went down next. This is your time to shine, Lucas Shaw. Let's go.
Gabe Fox at the bottom, watching on. Half a second back now, it's split 4 for Lucas Shaw, that SRAM flight attendant. Shuffling the compression settings of both his fork and shock. It's going to be a busy run for that thing. Be a bit of heat coming off that by the time it gets to the bottom.
Lucas Shaw
now heads out into the daylight for the first time since he entered the woods. Where is this?
35 km/h, il marche pas ton truc.
It's been entertaining so far.
Il est tellement fast. Il casse le timer de, enfin le détecteur de vitesse.
Lucas Shaw crosses it and goes
9/10
of a second back.
0,9.
9/10 of a second separating the top 3 already here in Italy.
Ça saute.
Isn't that crazy? 9/10 on a track like this with all those roots and holes and rocks.
Ah bien joué. C'était une belle course.
I think Luca will be looking for a little more, but hopefully keep his high position in the overall ranking.
Colombie, oui. Where is Colombia in the chat? Je sais que vous êtes là. I know you're there. Colombia.
I expect to see a quite opposite run from Luca.
Marco Cara, merci pour le follow, mec. C'est plaisir. Oh putain. Oh, il a pris l'arbre.
Those outside roots there are huge. The holes are so much bigger. and it forces you to come back across here. He just gets a bit hung up on the outside, caught the G out. Tell you what, thank God for the treatment he had there.
Perfectly placed by the course team here in
Ah, ça
Val di
pique, hein.
Sole, Trentino. All these war
Ça
sits on
ça
in the
picote.
hot seat, but shows you, Nico, how quickly it can go
Ouais,
wrong
il
here
s'est
in
pris
Val di
l'arbre dans la
Sole.
tronche.
Yeah, I mean, trying to do a race around
Ah,
this track, there's a lot
Piron.
of obstacles in the way.
Allez, le petit frère.
Won that Q2 session yesterday. Gets better and better in 2025. This man, his brother, Amory, healing vibes to him, out with a broken collarbone.
And he put in a time
Son frère qui a cassé la chaleur.
Into the 42s yesterday, which is a
Bon, ça va, je suis là.
cracking
8
time.
minutes pour les prédictions. Hein. Il vous reste 8 minutes.
Q2 in the
8 minutes
afternoon, the track went
for the
away.
prediction.
Interestingly, I heard a
Prediction
few
on the
people
chat
mention
below the thing for writing. You can predict who's gonna win.
Maybe a little bit. I mean, the track crew does some maintenance. They go
On a du
through and they
Colson, on
rake
a
some
du
debris
Bruni,
off
on a
the
du
line,
Vergier.
so it's a little bit cleaner, and some of the lines
Allez, faut
can
voter,
develop.
hein.
I'm
Faut
sure at
voter,
the
les
end of
gens.
the qualifying day, things just destroyed.
Predict your winner.
Through there from Antoine Piron. He's a second up at the first split.
We
Held
recovered
on to
from
that
that
one.
really well. Yeah.
Pas mal.
There is a huge hole in the
C'est bon. Oh là là. Il est passé par le marchand de sable.
Opening up, you know, that's the third or fourth rider in a row we've seen really take a big impact into it and into that compression. 8th in Ludenville for this man on your screen now, Antoine Piron, his best this season so far. And this is
Petit
going to be
frérot
it, Nico.
représente,
If you wanna
let's
get
go,
on the
ouais.
top step here, you are going to have to take risks
Allez,
today.
pour le bro.
Yeah, I think there's several riders capable of doing it.
Clavicule
It's gonna
cassée
be
pour
who
Amaury,
makes
on
the
répète.
least mistakes. And this track has a lot
Malheureusement,
to
il n'est
test
pas là.
out.
Swar, Williams, Shaw, Castellanos,
Coup dur pour Amaury.
So far here in Val di Sole, Trentino. Super fast round there, Piron.
And we were to talk about winning today, but even just a great result, a top 10, something like what Antoine's shooting for, it's going to be about putting those mistakes behind you. You saw him clip that rock. He's got to just push on, get back on track, not let that bother the rest of his run.
Eh, pas mal, hein?
Said than done. He's 1.6
Une seconde
faster here,
6.
so whoa, just got moved forward there, managed to keep it rubber side down, Josh.
C'est pas mal, hein? C'est pas mal. C'est pas mal, les gars.
Hopefully he can reset. I'm sure his heart rate is through the roof at the moment, which is definitely going to add to a little bit of
Est-ce que le
stress
top
and
1 de la
anxiety
Q2
into this lower half. He's had a great
va
top
tout
half.
péter? Oh, putain, il est passé à côté d'un caillou vachement dangereux. Hein.
He planned. He just got a little bit off balance in that setup. He was aggressive with it, and then it bounced him left. He didn't get to do the jump out of the woods.
En 2 secondes, 2.
Seconds faster now at the third split. It's been all action
C'est pas mal, c'est pas mal. Pour anticiper les 2 petites montées, on va voir comment il va les passer.
Oh, this is on the edge here.
Ok, Fougère.
This is lightning quick at the moment. This is a little bit wild to watch, and we've got a couple of key corners to go. Do we think Amory's passed on any inside here?
For sure. I mean, he's got 2 other brothers racing this weekend. Baptiste tried to qualify as well.
Allez, première montée, hop. Ok, il l'a coupé un peu, il a shooté le petit poteau. C'était pas mal, j'ai apprécié, j'ai apprécié. Deuxième. Ouais, c'est plutôt rapide, oui, monsieur, oui.
Who is most definitely on the move here in Val di Sole, Trentino.
I think he's got a flat tire here. You can see the beat of the
non,
rim.
non.
Oh, this is devastating.
Oh,
Look
no.
at this, 3 seconds.
Non,
outside.
y a rien.
Got caught out coming into that car.
Non, il a crevé.
Earlier in the week. Oh, Baptiste.
Non.
Every week, what a cruel sport this can be.
Non, flat tire.
The pedally bottom section where you can't get away
le
with
drift.
that flat tire. This place will be on its feet for one of the runs of the week.
Oh, ça
so
dégoûte.
Honestly, still pretty close on the time. He's going to have to look back at that last split and see where he was there at the end of the race, and I think that'll actually stand up.
3 seconds up. That's
Oh,
incredible.
comment ça
There is a lot
dégoûte.
of time up there.
Oh non, il mérite pas.
Apologies to our French viewers if they've heard any language there, but there you can see it, Josh. Look at that.
Yeah, we saw a lot of riders. I'm curious to see
Ah
where
non.
that might have happened up
Ah,
top.
mais il a
There is
trop
a big
forcé,
line
hein.
straightaway just
Il a
after
trop
we
forcé.
saw,
Bah, c'est risque dans les cailloux.
Antoine get a little
Il a
hucker back
pincé.
there that's been catching a lot of riders out because there's so many sharp rocks that are hidden
Ou c'est du tubeless.
amongst that duffy dirt. There's Amory there
Ah
consoling
non.
There's, yep, Amory Piron.
C'est pas mérité, c'est mal payé, c'est vraiment mal payé.
Here we go. The man from County Down, Jacob Dixon, leaves the Star Hop.
This is the kind of
Attention.
track that Jacob normally excels on.
Attention aux
He's
Irlandais.
been so close this season
Ok.
several times, but really
Hop
good to
bien.
put it through straight from the Q1 yesterday.
Really likes the zero bike this season on the MS Racing setup. 1.9 seconds back at the first
Gère.
split, so Dixon is in touch here. Saw him up on the track. After
J'ai rien
practice,
dit.
re-walking
Et
it. He said he never
attention aux
re-walked the
Irlandais.
track after he's ridden it in practice, but this place demands so
On verra
much
plus tard avec
respect that he
Ozil.
felt he needed to. And very close with Ronan Dunn as well. A lot of chat between the two
Ah,
of
ça
them
fait
about
chier
where they
pour
want to be on
Pierron,
these
hein,
race
vraiment.
runs, and great to see Dixon
C'est
in
vraiment
amongst
mal
it. 3
payé.
seconds back though.
And that bike's obviously working really well. They've got a good team, good click going on there. Tahuto's been riding extremely well last couple of weeks, so it's fantastic to see Jacob step up, get straight into the final, not have to do with Q2, and make this happen here today. An extremely talented young rider.
So 19 to go after this month.
Tahuto just missing out his teammate with a slow puncture at the end of the run yesterday, so also very close considering.
Here he comes, Dramore's finest, turns right, heads towards the bridge. Jacob Dixon, great performance this week, all week long for the MS Racing squad. Crosses the line, home in 5th as it stands, 4.4 seconds back of Ollie Zwar, who leads this race for Orbea FMD Racing.
But Jacob should be stoked at that, just to be in the finals this week.
Oh, you have to feel for that, man. Pierron, what could have been 3 seconds up, only to suffer a rear puncture in the final split.
Ah, il avait 3 secondes. Il avait 3 secondes.
Racing, isn't it?
It's a cruel mistress, and that's why we all love it
ça
so much.
dégoûte.
Max Hartenstern for Coupe Factory Racing was down there the other day. Really good atmosphere at Coupe. Cross country and
C'est le
downhill
risque.
teams all
Il y a le
put
risque dans les
together.
rochers de crever.
They got their first elite level UCI World Cup win in Leogang, courtesy of Andre Sink in the cross country Olympic. And this man's been going well this year, Josh.
I think he's been going fantastic, really been stepping into the form, almost taking a bit of a leadership role in that Cube team. They've got a couple of really fast juniors under the tent and as well, and I think Max is someone who we expect to perform and
Fougère.
maybe hasn't quite reached that potential the last couple of years. I think
C'est
this is
rouge,
the
hein. C'est
section that
rouge
caught
pour
out
l'Allemand.
Pierron. Look at all this dust and dirt coming in
Avec
here.
2 secondes au split 3, en fait, tu rattrapes pas parce que les 2 petites montées à la fin de la forêt, celle-là est.
Yeah, I'm not sure we lost that time. I think maybe
Oui,
Ollie's
celle-là et
run
puis la
was
prochaine là avec la souche.
fast.
We say 2.7 seconds
Ouais, voilà.
back,
Si
4
ça te met dans
seconds
une
back.
merde.
Pierron was 3 seconds up to give you an idea of what
Il y
he
avait
was doing
3
here.
secondes.
Yeah, Pierron's run was something else. I mean,
Ah là, au
he's really
4e,
kicking
3
himself
secondes
up.
au 4e.
It's nice to know you have the speed, but man, those are hard to take as a racer. They
Ah, ça
definitely leave
dégoûte.
you pretty emotional after the race.
Oh bah du coup, j'ai bien fait de pas le mettre dans les pronostics. Hein.
I mean, what can he tell himself after that?
I mean, look at the time. The data itself has got to give you confidence, but man, to know what could have been is just, it's frustrating. You'd rather that than just be slow, but man, when the podium may have been within your grasp and you don't take it, it's difficult.
Yeah, neither's ideal, really, is it? You want to be up there. Hartenstern crosses the line, 4.8 seconds back.
Il est toujours là, Pierron.
For
Et au bout de
Cube
sa vie.
Factory Racing.
Ouais, c'est ça, énorme run, vraiment.
Here comes Roger Vieira.
Ah, Brazil, let's go Brazil, Roger! Brazil on the chat, are you there?
Brazilian national champion riding for Pivot Factory
Let's go,
Racing
Brazil.
as a substitute for their player
Et
manager.
très gros fan de VTT, le Brésil. VTT descente.
A lot of
Et
fans
enfin,
really stoked to
VTT,
see Raj in the
cross
final.
country et descente.
He's the people's champ, and to get this opportunity to ride on Bernstein.
Ok, ok. On l'avait pas vu celle-là encore, je crois. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow.
Last year.
Ça danse, hein. Ça danse, c'est le carnaval de Rio, là.
You give up a little time to set up for it, but you get it much smoother like he did there. Really technical line that he executed.
How much does that actually help Nico when you get a fill-in ride on a factory team there? Do you think that's a little boost for him, or is it actually more pressure?
I think it's a boost. I mean, he didn't used to have that support. I think it's a little bit to get used to. It's new for him, but the bike, the equipment, the staff that can help you take things off your plate, that all helps as a rider. It puts you on a level playing field from the rest of the guys in this race. Normally, he's doing a lot more himself that his competition wouldn't have to do.
Vieira 0.7 of a second back at the first split on that Pivot bike.
The pivot bike's pretty interesting. It's a high pivot with a jack drive, similar to the prototype Specialized they're running. And I think on these type of tracks, that's new style, like to go for bump absorption here in Val di Sole. Like that's going to be the strategy.
Pique le marchand de sable.
Finals this season for Vieira.
Par contre, cette course, hein, là, c'est sec, poussiéreux et tout machin. Imaginez s'il pleuvait. Il était mouillé, si c'était gras. La piste, elle est infâme. C'est vraiment la pire, quoi. 3 secondes. Seconde, ça date.
Now, wasn't that long ago? 3 seconds on Val di Sole was nothing.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, it is dramatically different as he gets that inside line there.
I can remember being teammates with Gwynny in 12 when 11 maybe when he won the race by 8 seconds to show what the margins used to be here.
Roger should be stoked to be in the final here today. It's no easy feat just to make it straight into the final through Q1 or Q2. So this will be a huge boost of confidence for him.
Oh, allez, j'ai bien kiffé. J'ai kiffé.
4.9. There's alarm bells ringing here inside the helmet of Roger Vieira.
Come on, Rog, hold her on. You got a couple to go. Oh, arm pump coming into this final drop. My goodness. All of a sudden, the hand grips start to feel like toilet rolls. The brake levers are further out than you can imagine.
Here he comes.
He's got a couple to go.
Into the open, Roger Vieira hangs on. About to get his finals race run. Hangs a foot off there. Maybe just has a soft tire. Crosses the line, Vieira home with 350.6, 6.3 seconds back.
Ah, ça c'était beau là.
That dust kicking up.
Il va y avoir des super photos de ça.
Kicking up some dust on his way there, Nico.
It just makes the riding look cooler when you see dust flying.
Tinted lenses as well. That's the key to it.
Introzzi
leaves the start hut for Rogue Racing after Skull.
Another one of these Italian riders that we've seen looking so good on track this weekend. Just aggressive home race. They want to make their mark.
Oh, excuse me, he's not actually registered for Rogue Racing, but definitely pitting with them all week long. 10th of a second off split one.
They're still in touch in that upper section.
Chainsaws roaring in the woods here on the side of the Black Snake.
No time for an apple here today. There's a little bit of wind at the bottom, but I'm wondering if that dust is actually clearing a little up in the woods there.
I haven't seen the Big Apple here this weekend yet. They normally have a guy in a massive apple suit wandering around distributing apples, and I haven't seen him so far. Maybe too hot for Big Apple suits.
He might have floated down the river if he's got any luck.
Introzzi on track then, heading towards the second split. Let's see how he's doing, the Italian. Roared on by the home fans.
He comes from a lot more of a privateer background, and it's cool to see a guy like this. Look at his time, mixing it up with some of the best riders in the factory teams.
Within half a second.
Butted that section there. He held a really great line from outside to in, carrying some good speed down through the Karcher section. Almost watched Zach Bradley go out the front door in this bit earlier today in practice, so this is quite a gnarly bit considering it's been made easier.
On sait que c'est pas mal, hein?
Absolutely nothing in it here for Stefano Introzzi. An Italian going into the hot seat would send this place through the roof if it had one.
Il manque, du coup, il manque un petit truc risqué, quoi. Faut risquer un petit move.
Some exit that you get from the inside line, but then he opens this up as well. So it'll be interesting to see what the split says.
Yeah, 3/10 of a second, so he's found 2/10 in there, and Trotzi 61 kilometers an hour into that left-hander.
Bien, il est bien. Hein?
He's got to hold it on through the bottom section here. That's where we saw Valley Hole get held up earlier today.
Yeah, doesn't want to overcook it through here. He's done the really hard bit, but needs to keep the bike moving forward here.
This seems to be the danger section, claiming wheel after wheel after wheel. Hopefully he can make it through today and keep this push alive all the way to the bottom.
Introzzi round that right-hander really well. Looking good here, Stefano Introzzi.
That was good. Good exit speed there. Through, what's he got? He's had a bit of a hesitation. Couple more to go. Come on, Stefano.
He's found a couple of hundredths of a second. 3/10 of a second back at split 4. We know there's time down the bottom here.
Alors, est-ce que l'Italien va le faire?
The outside line to inside.
0-3, c'est comme si c'était 0-0. Hein.
Control throughout, hasn't it? It's been a precise run.
He really has. I mean, normally I see him riding so aggressive wild on the track, but he's really put that all into a precise run today.
Here comes Stefano and Trossi then. Turns right. Just the final jump. Is he going to go in the hot seat and displace Ollie's War? Here he comes. Here comes the Italian Stefano and Trossi. Down towards the line. Crosses it. Goes fourth. Lost a load of time in that final split. 1.6.
Il a perdu du... Mais il me semblait que... Il a freiné le saut en fait.
Towards the bottom, just a couple of those corners he missed his exit, which little minute scenarios like that is all it takes.
Maybe even the turn where the split was. It's like a really tight right. It looked like he just got hung a little bit in those tighter turns.
Bah, Chaplet, Simon Chaplet. Il y a des gens pour Simon Chaplet dans le chat. Allô, la France.
Frenchman, formerly of Coupe factory racing for a couple of seasons.
He's into the duff down below. He's made
Okay, 0-4 c'est bien. 0-4 on est bien.
4/10 of a second back at the first split, and Josh, these guys, Rogue Racing, another one of those smaller teams that are stepping up in 2025.
They are stepping up. They're committing to each race. They're earning enough points to continue getting a wild card selection into the round.
Je pensais qu'on n'a pas vu Ride or Die dans le chat. Il vient nous dire bonjour encore celui-là.
One of the wildest rides we've seen, and now Chapelet is here in yet another final. It may be the toughest year of downhill racing we've had, so congrats to the team for making the effort and all their sponsors and putting it in where it counts.
Chapelet, 14th in Ludenvielle, and Nico, anytime you're down there, the road racing guys,
Chapelet, il roule sur
good
quoi là?
atmosphere in that pit, isn't it? It's that magic that just makes the whole thing
trop
work.
rapide,
It
je
pushes
vois pas.
everyone on a bit. It's so important in this sport.
And it's been for
Ouais, ça a l'air d'être un V10.
They don't have as much money and resource, but they have a really nice setup. They have everything they need in their tent. They do a really good job with what they have, and
Ça a l'air.
that works for the team goes above and beyond.
Je cherche,
When you
je
see that
regarde.
pay off, it's got to be a good feeling.
Oh là là, oh là là.
Didn't seem to slow him down much.
No.
Il a dû ralentir un peu parce que sinon ça allait être terrible.
For road race at the minute, but anytime I'm down there, always the food looks absolutely incredible.
1 seconde 9, ça pue du cul. Je vais pas vous le cacher. Ça pue un peu. Hein. Il faut revenir là. Il faut tenter quelque chose. Aïe.
It's a good backside pump there.
Faut un petit miracle. Faut un petit miracle.
2 seconds back. He's slightly going backwards here, but 2
Merci,
seconds.
Potage.
It's still
Pour l'info.
reasonably within touch of a good result here today.
Ah, il n'y a pas Lazzari juste après.
And then we're into Ronan Dunn, Luke Meyer-Smith, Charlie Hatton, Ryan Pinkerton. So for
Lazzari.
reference, 3:44.2
Yeah.
is the time that leads this race. 3:42.2.
Regarde.
Jackson Goldstone's fastest qualifier from yesterday. We've seen junior men go underneath that time already today.
Good exit there. We saw.
Ouais, c'est pas mal. Je pense que ça ne suffira pas. Ça augmente. Je pense que c'est mort.
Threading the needle through that off-camber section. Yeah, we saw Introsi lose a bit of time in that earliest corner by the split there. Simon's having a solid run. He's not sliding too far back. Maybe he made a slight mistake in between 1 and 2 to cost him that 1 second.
It's kind of been death by 1,000 cuts, this one, hasn't it? There's just been little errors left and right that have just 0.8 of a second away from him. Let's find out what it is then once all is told. Heads towards the finish arena, Chapelet.
Ouais, ça va vite. Hein. C'est impressionnant. Ils roulent toutes bien, vraiment. Tous ceux qui participent, c'est vraiment des dingos.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to see from Ollie. Great result. Ollie's been charging hard this year, so if that can hold on. Speaking of Ollie Davis there with his broken scaphoid.
Yeah.
He's had a rough season
casser le scaphoid, c'est chiant ça.
Oh, this is one of the Jewett lads earlier in qualifying.
Oh, putain de merde.
It looked like he rolled out of that pretty well considering, man.
Ah, aïe aïe aïe, puis il reçoit le vélo dans la gueule encore là. Oh là 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 là.
Yeah, that was Dane Jewett there. That was Dane Jewett there, but that's Ollie Davis on screen who broke his scaphoid in a similar way this week. He had a rough start to the season.
C'était pas lui qui c'était sur la vidéo, mais il a dit de façon similaire. Allez, Palazzari à la maison, il faut tout donner. Hein. Si t'es chez toi, t'es à la maison, il faut vraiment y aller, mec. Pousse, pousse, pousse. Hein.
We saw him come down the hill earlier with no tyre on his rear wheel. He's had a few issues trying to maintain some PSIs in the rear.
And I feel as well, boys, that we've talked a lot this year about how as he's 0.2 of a second faster at split one Palazzari, that we don't really see as many mechanicals in
Mesdames et messieurs, c'est vert. Vert pour l'Italien. Allez, mec, dompte-moi ce Black Snake. Je crois qu'il y a des serpents sur le maillot, non? J'ai vu de serpents là. Faut y aller là. À la maison, pas le temps de niaiser, pas de spaghetti à cuire. Faut y aller, mec. C'est toujours vert. Mais de pas beaucoup. De vraiment rien. Mais c'était pas mal, hein, c'était pas mal. Allez, 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 allez. Non!
Palazzari goes down.
It's just getting blown apart. There is almost no bank to bite into there, and just as we are about to say it, Palazzari.
Dur pour l'Italien. Il était bien, c'était dans le vert. Ah, c'est triste.
Really, really nicely as well. Ronan Dunn up next after this man.
You can always expect Palazzari to go for it. He's not one to take a smooth run.
He's not scared.
He's going all in.
So 14 to go after this man. Dunn, Meyer-Smith, Hatton, Pinkerton, Deprella will lead them. I have a sneaking suspicion Ryan Pinkerton could be on for a result here today. This is very much
ah ouais, il était bien. Hein. Et ça se voyait qu'il y avait beaucoup de contrôle. Tu vois qu'il connaissait bien la piste. Il était focus, rapide, propre. Il prenait des risques, mais c'était mesuré. Ah, c'est dommage.
So it'd be cool to see Lukey Meyer-Smith really step up, maybe claim that podium position here today.
Yeah,
make up for his teammate who we just saw get ejected out the front door. Dane Jewett, rest up, mate. Hope you're okay.
This is one of those places, though, that just year after year demands a bit of magic from someone. Anne-Marie Pierron here last season, one of the best race runs I think we've seen in UCI Downhill World Cup history. We mentioned it earlier at the top of the show. Sam Hill, 2008, one of, if not the best UCI World Champs runs. If you haven't seen that, ask yourself what you're doing in your life and then go and look for it on YouTube.
Ouais, dommage pour Palazzari.
It was a lot more open than
to
do that inside line.
Yeah.
Un petit whip là.
Absolutely.
I don't think it mattered with Sam, did it?
No.
He had inside lines that didn't even exist.
Yeah, focus.
We find inside lines on straight. Palazzari, not to be for the Italian national champion. Here we
Alors
go.
que Ronan dit attention, les Irlandais forts qui arrivent. Hein. Ça arrive fort là, ça arrive fort.
From Mondraker Factory Racing leaves the Star Hut in Val di Sole, Trentino. What has the Irishman got in store for us today?
Leaving the Star Hut like Eddie the Eagle up there today. This man has had a
Il y a vraiment des gens qui hurlent de fou.
and a wild season so far.
Allez,
This course suits this edgy style. Ronan Dunn.
0.3 of a second back at split one. He has
C'est Ronan qui roule dans les dunes de sable. Parce que Ronan Dunn. Ah, bref. Sinon, vous en pensez quoi du kit Moondraker? Le kit, le vêtement, hein. Pour moi, c'est un 2 sur 10. Hein. C'est chier.
They have to ride the bike smoothly. They have to miss all those sharp edges. Like there's no wheel that can survive some of the hits they put through it. And this one's especially tough because a lot of those sharp edges are covered by dust. You can't see them. Sometimes the dust is like a puddle where you can't even see how deep it is. And underneath it, there's a sharp square edge.
This is looking good to me here. Ronan Dunn pushing this track to its absolute width limits through here. Let's see what the second split tells us. 0.6 of a second back, so he's lost 0.3 of a second, but in Val di Sole Trentino, that is absolutely nothing. Really nicely round that outside line, Josh.
Yeah, great exit speed. Let's see what happens with this rut here that... Oh, he gets the inside over the rock, so carries great speed here. So all this speed was generated from that upper root garden. This is looking good from Ronan Dunn. I think he might have pulled a little bit of time back here. He's got to get a good exit out of this. This inside line's been proven to be pretty fast and smooth.
Il faut risquer un petit truc parce que, je le répète, les deux montées, ça baisse le run. Hein. C'est pas assez.
Last time out
Ah, mais soir, hein. Sweden guy, hein. Pas mal.
Donates a bit of fabric to the tree. Come on, Ronan Dunn.
He had an interesting line entering the speed trap, too. He went wide and then jumped the inside corner before that big step down, so that might have contributed to that.
There's Jorge's team manager watching on Mondraker factory racing, second year out for them, and Ronan Dunn starting to go through the gears here in Val di Sole, Trentino.
It's stressful to be in Jorge's position watching your rider come, and I can only imagine it being Ronan.
0.6 of a second back at the
0,6, c'est encore possible. Hein. C'est encore possible, ça se joue à rien du tout. Dites-vous que c'est vert.
Dunn as ever has done plenty of runs this week behind Jackson Goldstone, in front of Jackson Goldstone, the two of them very, very close.
Wow, putain, c'était fast là.
Carrying good speed down here. He does look like his arms are a little bit pumped up, so we're keen to see how they are at the bottom. A little bit of a head slap off the speed drop.
Williams, Shaw for the time being as Ronan Dunn heads towards the finish line here in Val di
0,
Sole, Trentino. What can the
2,
Irishman do?
3, 4, ah, 5.
Ronan Dunn goes fourth.
Aïe, 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 tu perds du temps de fou, hein. Il faut vraiment être propre dans la forêt parce que sur la motorway, tu perds du temps,
Nico, what do you read from that?
I thought it was a great run. He's riding really aggressively, but a lot more precise than he was in the past years.
Luke Meyer-Smith sets off then. Josh, you reckon this could be a big run from the Australian national champion?
You know, Luke's had a couple of fantastic rounds in Ludenville. Leo Gang, listen to the rocks get removed in the corner there. If fitness is not an issue with Luke Meyer-Smith, if anything, he's got to be a little gentler on the bike to get it down the hill. He had a big crash in Ludenville. Right now, he is charging hard through the middle section. He's almost half a second up. This was prime form from Luke Meyer-Smith in qualifying yesterday. He went fastest at all 4 splits, but an unfortunate mechanical in that lower Michelin section brought him undone. Lukey Meyer-Smith is on one here. This is a great start to his race run. He's got to hold it together through this middle section.
Yep, the Australian national champion, 23rd, 25th, 23rd so far this season, desperately wants to get himself on the podium. And he's 0.4 of a second up at the first split. What's the second one going to tell us?
Well, he's had to kind of find that new downhill speed. He almost moved to Enduro last year, had a couple of great results, but now he's fully focused on his downhill World Cup season, and it really takes a bit of a different edge to make it happen in our finals.
Here he comes, Luke Meyer-Smith, looking really, really good on that giant. He's a 10th of a second in the lead, so he's lost a little bit of time on his compatibility.
Ça peut être rouge là.
Oh, gets a double-double, look at the inside
Oh, il a perdu le pied, mais je crois que ça va. Je crois que ça va, je crois que ça va.
Man, some of those tech lines that he's doing, it almost looks like Remy Thirion out there.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Remy's been great helping Luke figure out the pros, the professional way. Remy is the absolute, one of the best professionals on the entire circuit. So for Luke to go under his wing, couldn't think of anything better. Gets the inside line there to the backside double jump. This is going to carry some good speed down here. He's lost a little bit of time, but he's got to make it happen in this next section.
It doesn't hurt as well that Remy Thirion, one of the best technical riders to ever do it. 1.3 seconds back though. It's gone away from him.
It was sliding that pedal off in the upper section there. He just, when he jumped it, he did a good job of recovering, honestly, to only lose 1.3. So I think he could actually even make that up if he can carry good speed through this bottom section.
Not to mention the stress of the pucker going in as he comes through there.
Big pull across there. I tell you what, if he makes that time back,
Oh là là.
through the roof of this commentary booth, enjoying this one.
Straight out the front door. Don't worry about Lukey going out
c'est
the
long,
front
hein.
door. He's got to make it through this
C'est
section.
4
He's still got
minutes
air in his tires.
The
descente
turns
là.
are pretty tight, so as an enduro rider, I think maybe he can excel through this, and his strength too, being less fatigued.
And there is a bit of that enduro, Josh, making it up as you get down the track and sort of dealing with those surprise lines and sections as they change.
Les deux montées, hein.
1.6 back now at 4 though.
But enduro life is no lunatic life. Like the downhill is almost tucks the front off the end, so maybe that stress is starting to catch up with him from that big moment earlier. It's definitely going away from him in the second half.
Maybe just knocked Luke Meyer-Smith out of his rhythm slightly. That little mistake up top, 50 kilometers an hour through the speed trap as he heads through the final corner lane. Luke Meyer-Smith, it's been all action stuff. Wants to get comfortably inside the top 20 with this one. Meyer-Smith crosses the line, goes fifth, 1.5 seconds back. So best we've seen of him this year so far.
Makes me wonder if he could have bent a pedal or a crank arm on that section there that he caught.
He hit it pretty hard. It's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. Charlie Hatton next up. from the UK, former UCI downhill world champion, of course.
Allez, Charlie Hatton avec un bike Atherton Continental. J'aime bien ce nouveau vélo. Vous en pensez quoi de ce vélo là? Moi, franchement, j'aime bien. La run de Pierron était dingue. Ouais, c'est clair. Hein. 3 secondes, hein. 3 secondes au split 4. Franchement, c'était une dinguerie. Ça casse les noix qu'il est crevé. Vous en pensez quoi du bike là? J'aime bien. Ils sont chers en fait? Pose la question. Je sais pas s'ils vendent des DH, mais je sais qu'ils vendent des enduros.
I often see him riding his best in these conditions.
Yeah, he's definitely somebody who comes to the fore when there's a lack of traction. Heard the boss man.
Ils vendent pas celui-là là précisément, mais ils vendent des DH. C'est stylé, hein, moi j'aime bien.
I'd say if they did, they might well have another success on their hands. It's been going well so far this season. Almost silent through there. 0.7 of a second back at the second split. All these wires put down.
Ça commence à 5 000 euros.
He's still right in touch there.
Peu cher, hein.
He only dropped a fraction of a piece of time there.
I mean, this is ridiculous though. 0.7 of a second in Val di Sole. Like, downhill is tough this year.
Do you think they're up to speed quicker? That's why the times are tighter, because they're going faster for Q1? Do you think that's why their times are seeing tighter and tighter?
I just think the sport's continually progressing, and this new format has just raised everybody's level.
Let's get Charlie Hatton then down towards the third split. Let's see if he's made any inroads into that 0.7 of a second. He's lost 0.2 of a second, but still under a second in at 59.3 kilometers an hour through the speed trap for the Continental Atherton rider.
This next section I expect is where this Atherton gearbox bike is really going to excel, carrying good speed, not getting hung up on these hidden rocks and ghoulies through here.
Yeah, front wheel had a couple of nibbles at that root section on the way through there. Zwar, Pierron, Dunn, Meyer Smith and Palazzari fastest through the speed trap. All these Zwar, only rider over 62 kilometers an hour through the trees.
You can hear Charlie breathing hard through here, so this is the gnarliest part of this track.
1.2 seconds
Wow.
back, Nico.
Aïe aïe, il a perdu du temps là, il s'est pris le guidon dans le bide. Exactement, mais ça a stoppé quoi.
We can't blame them. They're probably absolutely smoked when they get here, and these turns are really tight, difficult. You have to work the bike, and yeah, it's understandable, but man, it's going to take not doing that to win this race today.
Yeah, intensity, the name of the game here, as ever in Trentino. Charlie Hatton stands on the pedals, throws some gears into that Atherton AM200 and crosses the line in 9th place. 2.7 seconds back for him. Top 10 covered by 4.4 as it stands. Next up then, Ryan Pinkerton for Mondraker Factory.
Vous pensez quoi du kit
Pinkerton, one of the dark horses for this one. Superb here as a junior. Remember, he had a crash about halfway down, got back on the bike and then set fastest split times afterwards.
I mean, he's been really impressive this year. He's really stepped into the elite ranks with authority. He had his year in 2024. And now,
whoa, Ryan Pinkerton straight into that big compression.
Look at how deep that is on the outside line there, missing the main rut with all the duff around him. We'll see if that results in some good speed for this second split. He's got to maintain that all the way down through this next section.
Ça fait trop simple quoi, c'est trop bleu. Ça fait trop moto aussi.
0.2 of a second back at the first split then for the Californian.
J'aime pas, mais c'est pas le même sport quoi. Trop simple, c'est bleu, point, puis on écrit en blanc quoi. Les designers ils sont pas cassés le cul. La géométrie du vélo, je l'aime bien aussi. Hein. Et il a, comparé aux vêtements, il a un peu un dégradé et tout. Enfin voilà, ils ont fait quelque chose. Les vêtements, ils ont fait ouais, bleu, blanc. Allez, c'est bon.
It's such an amazing sport, Nico, isn't it? In terms of Jorge's watching another one of his team riders with just completely
une brique de lait, quoi. Bleu et blanc.
Yeah, it takes all sorts to do this. I mean, you can just see like the difference between somebody like Jackson and Loic. Their body position is so different on the bike, and they end up 1/10 apart. Less than that last weekend.
Rattles that pole on the way through there. Pinkerton going well here, Josh, by the look of it.
Yeah, this is looking good. I'm very curious to see his exit out of this. He gets hung up a little. That's going to cost him some time. This time's going to go backwards here, unfortunately. Hopefully he can make it up at the bottom and really pull it together in these lower couple of corners. The outside line there is developing to be reasonably smooth.
1.9 seconds back for Pinkerton, so the top three currently covered just over a second.
Ah, ça va être chaud là.
That would
Ça va être chaud pour Pinkerton.
As it stands, but plenty of track to play with yet for the young American.
Looks like he just made a couple minor mistakes, like nothing crazy that we see on TV, but just slightly in a softer spot, not getting the apex of the turn the way he wants to.
Bien sûr.
And it's just adding up to just this little bit of time that he's losing.
It feels like you hit the nail on the head with that word.
Quand tu vois les tenues Troily Design, des choses comme ça là, certaines équipes, c'est quand même vachement mieux.
We always look at the sectors and the possible perfect run, so the riders need to do that perfect run. One guy needs to do it. That's what it's going to take to win.
En fait, ça fait trop. Je trouve que ça fait démodé aussi, parce que ce genre de couleur, tu pouvais le sortir il y a 20 ans, quoi.
3 seconds up, so the time is there, the track is there, just like Nico said. You saw in the upper couple of sections, he lost a bit of acceleration. He got hung
la
up
grosse étoile Rockstar là, ou Monster Energy. Ouais, le rouge délavé, ouais. C'est vrai que le fut, il est délavé, ouais.
Well, another big performance on the biggest of all stages. Ryan Pinkerton for Mondraker Factory Racing, home in 10th as it stands. 4.1 seconds back off the time of Ollie Zwar, who is having a big long sit to himself in the hot seat.
All in the experience bank for Pinkerton too. Like, he's still a young rider. He's got a lot of years in him, and this is all helping to build towards that.
Here we see the hot seat run. Ollie Zwar, Josh. It got better and better.
Yeah, and look how aggressive he was at the top of the track. This is the upper section here, charging hard here. Maintaining some great speed. This is a really good ride from Ollie Zwar. He's had this in him for a couple of rounds, but the luck just hasn't went his way. He's been a really big fan of this bike, and this is a great result so far.
Well, we can hear from him now. He's down there on the hot seat with Ashley.
Ollie, what a run from you today. This is the first time you've actually just watched that back. What do you make of it?
Looks pretty smooth. We're just saying with the boys here, like none of our runs felt amazing at all, but yeah, I think just being smooth enough to make it down and not make mistakes was the right move.
I mean, it's hard to have a perfect run at the Black Snake. It is chaos out there. What was it like?
Yeah, I don't think perfect run is a thing here, but yeah, just a few small mistakes, but yeah, I'm happy. I executed what I wanted to do, and I'm happy.
Absolutely. Your best result has been 9th in Ludenviel, so we're keeping our fingers crossed. You're looking pretty comfortable in the top spot right now.
Yeah, it's pretty warm up here, though.
How are you going to feel watching the next 10 riders?
I think I'll start get a little bit nervous now, but yeah, no, I'm happy. I did what I wanted to do, and whatever happens, happens.
Well, like I say, fingers crossed. Jordan, I just want to have a quick word with you as well. Currently sat in second. It's been
Prochain à s'élancer, c'est Thibaut d'après là.
You crashed multiple times, but pretty smooth today.
Yeah, I had a hectic week, but yeah, today put down a safe run, and we'll see where I end up.
And was that the aim? It must be so hard to recover when you've been off your bike.
Yeah, like you said, I went down 3 times in Q1 yesterday. Had another incident in Q2, but managed to get through. And yeah, happy I put down a safe one.
Brilliant stuff. 10 more riders to go.
Plus que 10 riders et on commencera avec d'après là.
Leads the way here in Val di Sole. Trentino for Orbea FMD Racing.
Il peut faire des dingueries, tous les Français peuvent faire des dingueries.
Told me there was
Votre force, vous êtes complètement taré.
He wasn't lying, Nico. What a run.
Really good run from him. He's had a tough couple of years. Spent the whole year out with injury. I think it was 2 years ago, and it's tough. The riders have to work their way back from that, but he's had this pace in him. He's had a few top 10s in over the past 3 years or so. So I think I've never heard a rider say they felt good in Val di Sole. Like, the track just makes you feel bad. But it's who can do that the best and who can manage it, and it seems like he managed it pretty well today.
And Josh, big rides from these two as well, Williams and Shaw.
Yeah, for sure, and for sure. as Lucas Shaw was on screen, to recover from that Q1 crash, get through the stress of Q2. He's been pretty consistent this year, qualifying straight in, and that's a solid ride from every single one of our hot seat sitters at the moment. Jordan Williams to recover from the stress of almost having a huge crash and missing. He knows he's got the speed. He's been on the podium before, and now he's put his best foot forward, moving into this afternoon's racing.
Next up, Thibaut Deprella leaves the start hut in Val di Sole, Trentino, and if one thing is guaranteed, this is going to be all action from the French national champion.
The first two turns already look like it.
Two-wheel drifting his way through that corner.
C'est parti, c'est la fusée d'après là.
The chain's gone already.
You could hear the crack. You could see the little flick of the chain come up there. Well, he hit those first two corners and gave him a bit of a shroud that's going to cost him a little bit of time. Now,
la chaîne qui s'est barrée.
No pedaling for you.
Luckily for us,
il n'y a pas de chaîne, il n'y a plus de chaîne. D'après là, il n'y a plus de chaîne. Attendez. Tout est possible encore, hein. Tout est possible. Parce que, souvenez-vous, Aaron Gwyn a gagné une course de malade une fois, sans chaîne. Tout est possible. Parce que dans leur tête, ils se disent merde, va falloir que je donne tout sans pédaler. Donc ils vont changer un peu leur plan de course. Et par contre la fin de la forêt, ça va être la merde, c'est ça. Une remake. Peut-être, maybe a green style.
The layout of this track doesn't take too much away. It's really just a sprint to the finish, and he can be well within that. He might give up a few tenths
difficile,
there,
je vous le cache pas.
he can set the hot seat time even without the chain.
C'était quelle course, Gwyn?
Val di Sole, Trentino, one of the steepest, most gravity-fed tracks of the year. So Thibaut Deprella,
c'est allé au gang, non?
chainless and into the green by some margin.
A lot of riders actually practice riding chainless. It gives them some perspective on carrying exit speed. So if he's practiced that, maybe he'll be ready for this.
Josh, tell us what mechanical difference
Ah,
does
c'était
it
Léo
make to,
Gang.
to not have a chain on
Il a
it?
gagné Léo Gang.
Hang on a second, he's 2.2 seconds.
2 secondes, what the fuck, les gros?
Sorry, excuse me 1 second. What it does to the bike, it frees up that movement of the rear wheel, so you can get yourself a little bit more traction. The front and rear wheel move a bit more independently. They're not so
Oh là 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 là.
bracket area.
Ça y va, ça donne tout. Ça donne tout parce qu'on n'a plus rien.
What it also does, like that training that Nico mentioned, it changes how you approach the apex.
Allez.
You do not have any
Alors peut-être, exactement. Alors peut-être.
Get off the brakes early and carry that speed through the turn, which means you carry great exit speed on a track like this. Just as Nico said, it is not.
Oh là là, 3 secondes. 3 secondes, chainless. 3 seconds, chainless, guys.
But a mistake like this, he's going to eat into that 3-second advantage.
Aïe. Petite erreur. C'est pas fini, c'est pas fini. C'est pas fini, mais les deux montées, ça va être terrible. Je vous le cache pas, les deux montées, ça va être très très dur. Celle-là, la première, attention, elle pompe bien. Ok, c'était plutôt pas mal. La deuxième maintenant, la deuxième. Ah, ça va être dur, ça va être dur, ça va être dur. Vas-y. Ok, c'est propre, mais c'est pas rapide. Est-ce que d'après là, va Speed One, les mains en l'air, chat. Oh là 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 là. Painless, guys, huh?
After the right-hander where you can really stand on the gas, and is Thibaut Deprella going to come down without a chain and go into the hot seat? Aaron Gwyn did it in 2015.
C'est lent, c'est lent.
Is Thibaut Deprella about to do it here in Val di Sole?
Oh!
Without a chain by 2 seconds.
Wow, that was incredible.
No chain, no problem for Thibaut Deprella. Nico, you've done it yourself.
Peut-être un Gwyn remake, hein?
We talked about being respected by the other riders on doing the most technical track.
Il est sur un tricycle, le type, c'est un truc de gamin.
Yeah, so it went early. He came out of those early
Comment il
couple
a
of
fait?
corners and we heard him give it a bit of a trap. He got so lucky here that it flicked straight out the back. So
oh, la chaîne qui a
he almost
pété
got
de
the
fou.
start, which was great.
That's the hard thing to think about. Like, that chain could have easily got wedged in the bike and ended his run there. But the fact that it flew off, we got to see this amazing performance.
Oh, 2 seconds faster without a chain.
Waouh, incroyable. Coulange avec son beau bike de scout. Une dinguerie, je vous ai dit. Ouais, franchement, pas mal, pas mal.
He is my favourite for today. Benoit's had a bit of bad luck.
What a nice run.
As I mentioned before, through his hit device, he's had the least amount of
Allez, c'est parti, Coulange.
Exposed to his
Allez, enlève
body,
la
so
chaîne
he's
aussi. On
riding
sait
in
que
a
vous
way that is
n'avez pas besoin de la chaîne.
smooth, which means he's missing those massive impacts. Speaking of impacts, he's into the woods and he's away.
Coulange, il a le gabarit, je trouve, pour faire des dingueries, mais ça a l'air mal parti apparemment.
He's a second back on that time off the Prela, but Nico, this man loves the steep route tech. Perhaps one of the best.
Ça me gratte le nez, il est fou.
Yeah, he's really good on this track. He's done
Le
good on
pollen
this
qui
track several
m'encule.
years in a row.
Allô?
And the new bike looks like it's working really well. He just fits in so well to that Scott team. You almost didn't know that he changed teams because it's such a natural fit for him.
Yeah, 100%.
They've got this new 6-bar bike, and all those bars seem to be cooperating pretty well.
Deprella was fastest in Sector 1 and Sector 3 without a chain, so Coulange chained up.
Je sais
Let's
pas,
find out
hein.
what he can do.
Pas de chaîne, en fait, ça aide dans le mental. Parce que tu te dis, putain, je vais pas pouvoir pédaler du tout. Donc il va falloir tout que je passe à une vitesse de fou. Surtout la fin, là. Les deux montées. Mais c'est vrai qu'on les voit pas beaucoup pédaler hein, dans cette piste. C'est pas faux, finalement. Et le problème, c'est qu'à la fin, la motorway, il y a possibilité de mettre un coup de vitesse en pédalant pour redémarrer après les deux bosses là. Et du coup, si t'as pas de chaîne, faut vraiment être rapide. Hein. Faut vraiment faire une perfect run.
Yeah, Benoit's not exactly carrying the speed we expect to see from Benoit here. He's just dropped a little bit more time. He's 1.2 back again in the next split. So
ah, c'est pas fou. Coulange n'est pas dans sa course. Hein. Je pense qu'il peut faire mieux, mais il est pas dedans. C'est parce qu'il a une chaîne aussi, là. Pourquoi il l'enlève pas? Pourquoi il n'enlève pas sa chaîne, là? Pas besoin. C'est bon, là. Enlève le casque aussi. Ça lui critique.
We knew that time was up there. Yeah. Thibaut Deprella just decided he'd make it even more difficult without a chain. 2.8 at split 4 for
Ah, Critique, tu viens de rater une course de fou si tu viens d'arriver là. Le gars, il a fait pour l'instant, il est top 1 sans chaîne. Il pouvait pas pédaler. Dingue.
It almost feels like it's harsher, so when the bike's freed up like that, it's a good feeling, gives you good.
Écoute, ça va bien, on est hypé là.
And important, Josh, as well, like we talked about.
On est hypé par la course.
Riders, they do train without the chain, so it's not
Toi, tu vas
alien
bien?
territory now. It's not something that's like, well, I may as well can it.
No, it's not alien territory as Benoit comes across the line. 3.7 back. I don't know if he'd be happy with that here today. It doesn't look like he rode
le pneu a l'air mou, non?
we're used to.
No.
But yeah, we do. I spend a lot of time training to ride chainless. Really adapt.
Ah, la moustache.
Cornering style, that speed, and the way you utilize what your bike has to offer. It can really change the way you adapt and you set your bike up. So you're not just relying on your pedaling and not just relying on your power, and you're prepared when something like that goes on.
T'inquiète, j'avais compris.
Andy Coupe then for the YT Mob.
Ouais, c'est ça, Dave Goob. Incroyable run. Incroyable.
On that 2S, a lot of respect for him, keeping the 29-29 love strong. No mullet set up for Coupe.
Parti pour le champion européen.
Which I think is a good thing on a track like this.
Moustache autrichienne.
Running the double 29er setup, but Andy and O'Sheen are on the same double.
Ça m'a l'air mou tout ça. Hein. 0,8, bon ça va. 0,8 ça va. Oh ouais, grosse erreur.
But that is all she wrote for Coupe. Big mistake there, Nico, and it just carried on and couldn't get it right again.
Looks like he broke the wheel, maybe got a flat tire.
Doesn't sound happy. You're talking about quiet bikes.
De crever pour Colbs dans le match, ça s'arrête là pour lui. Flat tire.
We were just talking up your wheels, mate. What are you thinking? Come on, dude.
You can see how bad the wheel's broken. It's got a huge piece taken out of it. That compression where he landed too is a new part of the track. So when we walked it during track walk, it looked like just a loamy, fresh section. And you jump from the old
faut pas mettre de
course
lien,
into the
Diaz.
new one. And the compression where all the bikes are landing, there's just sharp rocks, roots underneath there. And
Il a crevé, ouais, ça fait chier.
there's no other line to take. You just have to try to be gentle.
Pas de lien dans le chat, désolé.
Tried his best, but just an inch to the wrong side.
Fait chier. C'est dommage pour Kolb.
Et
il partait un peu mou, je trouve.
Just ultimately, we
T'inquiète.
said earlier on the show that this place eats bikes for breakfast, and
It's funny how much time engineers and factories spend to optimize their carbon fiber
Ah ouais?
layups to get the most weight savings
merde.
out of it, and then the pro rider goes and
Ah, il y
tapes
avait un
2
point,
kgs to the
il a
bottom
cru que
of
c'était un
the
lien.
tube.
How many times have you heard in your career, Nico, an engineer or a bike developer say, we've never seen that before?
It's lighter and it's stiffer, so it must be better. Well, actually, it's heavier and it's flexier, and they're winning races on it.
Well, actually,
Here
let
we
me
go.
yeet this thing into a rock.
Yep.
So it unsettled early here, but watch him get hung up in this big hole.
That's it. And then
There's some big
Ah,
rocks
t'as écrit
that are
A.
hidden in there. He gets hung.
T'as écrit
gets thrown a
A
little
putain
sideways on
avec
the
un,
roof, but it might have
un point.
unsettled on that
Ça fait
first
H.A.
hit.
point
And then
putain,
under
du
the
coup il
G,
s'est dit,
it
ouah,
just
le
went
lien de
and
fou.
let go.
The first compression
Ok,
is
je
the
comprends
one
pourquoi
where
il t'a
all the
vanne.
sharp rocks are, and I think he just got
T'inquiète.
kicked out of it.
yeah, I just wondered if that had maybe opened something up, a crack of some kind, and the second hit was a knockout
Ah,
blow for
d'après là,
that wheel,
mec.
but Deprella had his own mechanical
Le Black
malady,
Snake.
lost a chain almost out the gate, but
Ah, il doit être deg l'autre. Ce soir, il doit être tellement deg. Je me suis fait battre par un type sans chaîne.
You'll be enjoying this one. Chatting to Laurent Delorme there.
On attend que Kolb descende.
Finn Isles out of this one after a huge crash yesterday, but Jordan Williams hanging on there in third for the time being. Lloyd
Bon, cette
Rooney
vitesse, je
will
me
be
demande si c'est pas mieux de DNF.
third from the end.
Great to see some other sports take such an interest in our downhill World Cup. Sarazana downhill ski racer, the speeds are just outrageous. So for him to be here supporting the racing shows the impact and the reach that we're getting, just like Ken Roxon a couple of short weeks ago.
Here we go though, Ethan Craig from the UK.
Ethan wobbling around the pits. He's had
J'aime
quite
bien
a
quand
week.
même, hein, ces
Touched the ground
suspensions
more than
cachées,
he'd
moi.
like, but he's made it into the finals
Je sais que
through
pas tout le monde est
Q1
fan,
with a
mais
solid ride. He's had the
Ah, j'aime
speed
bien.
here. He's on the podium in Monza.
Ah, j'aime bien.
Just 2 years ago, was it 23?
Yeah, 23, that last race for GT Factory.
C'est pas du tout leur idée, Ascot. Ils ont repris ça, donc ça marche. Mais c'est stylé, j'aime bien. Et le bike de l'année, je trouve quand même que Orbea, il est beau. Hein. C'est vraiment un beau vélo.
Yeah, that thing's starting to degrade. There's not a lot of support left at the top, but we've got a couple more riders that need to hit it still today.
Tell you what, that downhill skier will have appreciated that. Josh drifted 2 wheels right out the edge of that right-hander.
Yeah, and misses that big highline rut there with all the rocks in it. So those little details, as we get down towards the top end, pay attention to those details from our top riders, because that is where the time is as he almost goes out the front door into the woods. Ethan Craig, hold on to it, Leroy.
That'll spike the heart rate for you.
That will
Spiked
raise
my
it.
heart rate. Spiked a few things, I think.
I thought we were about to see something absolutely huge there from Ethan Craig. Managed to hold on to it. 1.8 seconds back though, but
Ouais, mais c'est
still
pas très
has
rapide.
all
Hein.
of Val di
Une minute,
Sole
c'est
and
beaucoup
Trentino
là.
in front of him to play with.
Ça fait beaucoup là, non?
Taking a few deep breaths here, like the three of us in the commentary booth. He slightly misses the entrance there, gets a massive G out.
Time and time again, Nico, we're seeing that compression being key.
Yeah, and that's one of the hardest
rien,
spots is the new section of the track this year. If you go into it too aggressively, you just smash into it and kind of get spat forward like he did. So you have to be patient, but get a good exit speed.
You can hear how much he's breathing there. I think that stress, that cortisol level has
Ça, ouais.
just spiked a little bit coming into the lower section. So
Ah,
he's
j'étais
really going
bold,
to have
ouais.
to pay attention to his breath. Really try and bring this back and calm the farm before he gets into the
J'avais
second
testé
half.
des vélos Bold.
Six to go
Ils
then.
sont pas mal, hein.
Maples, O'Callaghan, Vergier, Bruni,
Pas mal du tout.
Bronson, and then Goldstone.
Je trouvais d'ailleurs plus jolis les Bold que... Par exemple, quand ils ont sorti les premiers Genius, là, je trouvais un peu moche. Bold, ils faisaient vraiment des vélos... le cadre était stylé, quoi. Là, le Scott Gambler, là, et il est plutôt pas mal. Ils ont plus affiné le cadre et tout. Je trouve intéressant.
Craig, so Patrice doesn't like what he sees. It is a flat confirmed.
Oh non, il a crevé! Oh!
There was a huge
Flat
impact and a
tire,
huge noise at the
guys.
top there. I wonder if he broke that front wheel, he hit it so hard. Like we said before, there is a massive rock there that you can't quite see from that angle. So as they drop in, it is straight into the face of the rock. Maybe that Roger Vieira
c'est une
line
catastrophe cette fin.
sent that information up the hill to the top guys.
Well,
Donc il n'y a que les vélos qui pètent et que les riders sont entiers, hein, moi ça me va. Je préfère que c'est les vélos qui ramassent. Hein. On préfère tous. J'ai d'ailleurs où je roulais dans mon bled là, il y a une connaissance qui était sponsor par Bold pour l'enduro. Comment il s'appelle maintenant? Je sais qu'il roulait au même endroit que moi. On se connaît pas du tout. De temps en temps, on se lâchait 2-3 mots, tu vois, mais. Il roulait bien. Je sais pas s'il roule toujours le type.
Interestingly, Ethan Craig and Benoit Collange, two different sized humans on the same size bike. So they're both riding the XL setup. That bike underneath Ethan, they both have a flip chip which changes the height of the bottom bracket and can also adjust the wheelbase a little bit. So Benoit's wheelbase is closer to 1340 millimeters, whereas Ethan's is a little bit more like 1326.
Here he is, Dylan Maples for Commensal Mucko
Apple.
bike riding addiction. The puncture and quali, but still got it home to 6th place. And this is, you know, that squad's faith in him really starting to pay off. And whenever you lose one of your big stars, Amory Piron, to a broken collarbone, you've still got Dylan Maples in the finals, Nico. What performance.
Yeah, he's got what it takes to do good runs. He's got the speed and the support of this team as well. I think he mentioned that there was a little bit more support now that Amory's out. They gave him a little bit of extra treatment. Maybe some of the parts off Amory's bike even, they said that he got to ride on the second day of practice once Amory was out. So they're going all in on Dylan.
Maples really fast through this top section.
Vélo préféré, comme j'ai dit, Orbea, il est vraiment beau. Hein. J'aime beaucoup. Je pense que c'est le vélo de l'année, je trouve. J'aime beaucoup la géométrie et tout. Il est très stylé. J'aime beaucoup Commensal. Les classiques comme les V10, mais Orbea, je trouve que c'est vraiment le banger de l'année.
As bad as that compression looked, he hit it really well. I mean, you kind of just have to take it like that, and then you cut off so much track that you're right on the inside.
Pour cette année, en tout cas, c'est mon préf. Salut Darlan. Salut Darlan, merci pour ton follow. Thank you Darlan. Les V10 sont dingues, ouais. Les V10 c'est un classique quoi.
With some of the biggest names in the biz, Miriam Nicole, Loris Vergier, Amory Piron. So he's been just mooching that information out of the best there is, and that's got to help, and it's got to help him with confidence, lines, race day professionalism. And he's really starting to evolve into that.
On en est où, Maple, là? Une 6, c'est pas ouf, hein?
Max Commensal watching on the bottom. The man whose name is on the bike on your screen now. 2.5 seconds back for Maples. Nico, it's not going his way at the minute.
Non, mais d'après là, hein. Mental dit.
He jumps across the track and then goes for the high setup as well. So that was a pretty cool line.
Pour l'instant, indétrônable, hein.
Maples on course, rattles the pole on the way through. Really great shot from the live drone. This gives you an idea of just they're in free fall through here, Josh.
Yeah, and they've really got to pay attention. Yet another section right here now. We saw a lot of riders go left, high line, cut it back across earlier in our finals. Now a lot of the top men. Oh, he almost tucks the front coming into the Scott double jump. Not the spot you want to do that.
2.9 seconds back. He's lost 0.4 of a second. 59.5.
Je pense c'est mort hein, pour Maple.
Yeah, a little bit slower than what we've seen. So maybe riding. Looks like he's riding a little bit tight here right now.
He's 2.9 back, but I mean, he's still in 3rd place, which is a really good position. If he can be strong to the finish, I mean, he's ranked so well from the quali that this could be a really good result for him.
It's a great shout. We almost lose perspective sometimes with just how incredible that run from Deprella was.
Yeah, Thibaut Deprella in the hot seat without a chain.
Good speed through that tight turn.
Maples has looked good throughout this.
You can see how far he jumped the flat there by how well he carried the right.
There seems to be something about this 3-second margin to here.
Time back here.
Yeah, he's
ouh là là, petite erreur.
There, Dylan Maples.
safely through the section that took his teammate out.
Something about the middle of the track, that round about that 3-second marker that seems to be on and off doable.
He's doing good. Maybe that doesn't stress. It's just him fighting, him just stepping into it.
Yeah.
It's not arm pump. It's just his strength starting to shine.
Bon bah beau run pour Mappel, mais malheureusement pas suffisant quoi. Au moins il arrive entier en bas, il a pas pété le vélo comparé aux autres. Eh ben second, c'est très bien. Il est content, Max il est content. Si Max est content, on est content.
Take advantage of the position he's in. He built through that run, gave up a little time in the middle. You saw a couple mistakes from him, but he made it up at the finish.
Attention à lui, hein. Attention à lui. L'Irlandais, attention à l'Irlandais bourré. Ah, ça c'est une machine. Hein. Attention. Il y a des gens qui ont voté pour lui ou pas? Personne. Bah faites attention au karma. Peut-être pas, mais peut-être. Ouais, je me suis un peu lassé des Haïti. Je suis un peu lassé de ces vélos. Mais c'est clair que c'est un banger. C'est un classique en fait, c'est devenu un classique comme le V10. Waouh! Agressif, hein? Agressif, monsieur. Une seconde, bah, on aurait aimé mieux, mais on prend ce qu'on a. On prend ce qu'il nous donne.
Yeah, I think just any extreme condition brings the best out of the best.
Oisin's been riding real consistent this year, back-to-back races, always in the final, always there and thereabouts. It's a good opportunity to him to build
ils ont lâché les chiens.
speed and make his way closer and closer to the podium and to that top step. He knows what it takes to be on the podium. Now he needs to learn, conserve that energy and that speed and that opportunity.
Oh, really,
so he
really
can start
good.
to make his way
Bah,
up.
pas l'air rapide. Hein. Ah, il y a le fan club en bas.
I was making sure he didn't go down. The cameraman's up high on a stand.
Je sais pas pourquoi ça a pas l'air rapide.
You can't see that route until you're on top of it. And he did a good job by getting around it.
O'Callaghan throwing everything at this run currently. 2.9 seconds.
Ah ouais, hein, 3 secondes presque. J'avais l'impression que c'était hyper lent. Bah c'est le cas. Merde. J'ai parlé trop vite. Évidemment, vous êtes peut-être bien fait de ne pas voter pour lui.
Andy Coupe joining that team as well. Only going to be good for Oisin. Really experienced pro, really fast, easy to get on with guy.
Yeah, I mean, look who's in that team. Valley Hole, Andy Kolb. There's a great amount of knowledge and experience and champions to learn from for Oisin.
O'Callaghan.
Vous avez quoi comme vélo, vous? Parce que si vous suivez le vélo descente, j'imagine que vous en avez un. Vous roulez sur quoi, là? Moi, perso, j'avais un Gambler. 2015. J'ai toujours, il est au salon là, mais il roule plus beaucoup. Capra et 10. Pas mal, Capra pas mal. Et 10 quelle année?
We first saw Antoine Piron dancing around and then Deprellis went
Connard.
to claim for his own, so it's really the intensity in the middle of the run that's going to, you feel like, make a difference today. You can see the 100 on the
Ah ouais, pas mal.
career numbers new for UCI
Sympa,
World Cup
sympa.
winners this season. O'Callaghan got that win in snowshoe a couple of years ago. 3.7, he's got 3/10 back now.
Running the 100 for the 00, Oisin O'Callaghan.
Yeah.
That's his go-to.
It's not a bad number, is it? O'Callaghan, today mightn't be his day, Josh, but haven't seen any mistakes in there. Another good, clean, polished.
Ouais, O'Callaghan, c'était pas sa course, hein. Je suis un peu déçu. Voilà, je ne le cache pas. Ouais. Voilà, j'ai rien d'autre à dire. Ah, vous savez qui c'est qui est après? Vous savez qui c'est qui est après? Et non. Moi, je sais. Ça commence par S, ça finit par I. Ah, quoi?
wasn't quite that upper 1, 2, 3%.
Ah, ok, là je suis en avance sur le truc. My bad. C'est Vergier. My bad. Goldstone me fait peur. Ah ouais. Mais je pense pas que ça va le faire sur cette course, hein, franchement. On va voir, mais le gabarit fait que je suis pas sûr. Et plus les monstres de muscles là, comme Vergier, Bruni.
Super aggressive tread pattern to cut through the dust. Here comes Loris.
Another rider that qualified well yesterday with only half the air in his rear tire.
15th in
En même temps, il n'avait pas de chaîne.
Nico, but this might be his day today.
Loris is light enough on his feet. He can get away with half the air in his tire.
Well, it's a bit of a drift into that second corner there.
Watching on track, Loris and Jackson were the two that stood out to me, so I expect to see a big run from him.
We talked about it during the junior men's race, as much as Max Allred.
Oh my
goodness. Max Allred, very much a mini Amaury Pierron, but Till Allred, the man who
Il a failli se passer une dinguerie, hein.
Very much a mini Loris Vergier, just a bit lighter on his feet, as you say, moves around a bit more.
For sure, you saw him open up that turn so much, he clipped the tree a little bit on his way in.
1.1 seconds back at the first split, Josh, but this is where Vergier will get to work in here.
Yeah, I think Vergier is
d'après là, c'est une dinguerie ce qu'il a mis, non?
Just the way that he picks those lines apart.
Je suis toujours choqué.
He can really pull back a little bit of time in the lower two splits here.
And this is against Deprella too. If you look at his career, he's always fast out of the gate. He always starts the race really fast. So I don't think being 1.1 off is a big problem.
Vergier rockets through the woods, and crosses the bridge. 7 UCI Downhill World Cup career wins to his name so far.
Bien Vergier parce qu'il entend respirer. Il entend souffler là. Il est vraiment là.
Really, the world champions jersey can be so much.
Ils font pas tout ça.
A curse, but it can certainly have a heavy weight to it. Vergier looking good here though.
Ça va bien, mais j'ai l'impression que c'est lent.
Second split shortly. See where he stacks up 2.3 seconds back. So that intensity
ça,
Deprella.
Ça.
Deprella.
C'est safe.
Flicked a mental
deux
switch
secondes.
somewhere at the start of this run, Nico, that they're having trouble to match.
Yeah, Loris just made that last section look so smooth. He floated through the whole thing, just touched the ground on the smooth spots. Quite opposite actually to Thibaut's run, but maybe not adding up to be the time that he's looking for.
Free to go after this man, Bruni, Brosnan, Goldstone wait at the top.
Peut-être qu'il se met un peu trop de pression à la finale.
Back on the man who leads this race without a chain, Thibaut Deprella. Here he comes through the next split, 2.9, so he's lost another 6/10. Josh, you're shaking your head.
Well, I'm just trying to see where this time is. I mean, we saw Thibaut come through and riding that ragged edge. Thibaut had a mistake here, which cost him a little bit of time, but Loris is still looking effortless.
I mean, that's terrifying by himself. By itself, Deprella still had time up there.
Still had time up there for sure with that big mistake, and no chain. Let's not forget about that. Whoa! Dipping it out, settle down, drifter. Come on, Loris, you got to pull back a little bit of time here. So it's not quite clicking for Loris yet, but again, 3 seconds back. It's still within the top 10. This is still a solid result.
He's ahead of where Dylan was, and Dylan went into second. So I think he's in touch.
Deprella, Maples, Zwar, Williams, Shaw, 1.8. So he's brought some time back now, Vergier. As Nico says, still in contention for second place here.
His middle two splits, he just went backwards a little bit, but he's bringing it home now. Another rider that's definitely, fitness is not an issue. He doesn't seem to suffer from arm pump too much, and that common cell bike underneath him, he's been working exceptional all week.
Here comes the UCI Downhill World Champion then, Loris Vergier for common cell. Muck off by Ride and Addiction. Where is he going to slot home? Is it going to be in the second place behind his compatriot Deprella? No, it's in the third, 1.7 seconds back.
Ouais, Bourron, mais d'après là, il a mis une vitesse pour l'instant à tout le monde.
It's not bad at all. Strong roster.
Look at this. Look at this, stepping it out.
Super Bruni. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Loic Bruni for Specialized Gravity. Locked and loaded in the gear.
Il est beau ce bike. J'adore.
Bruni has never won here in Val di Sole, Trentino, 120 beats per minute.
En fait, Orbea, le design est dingue, mais la géométrie du Special Z est fou. Allez, allez. Tu es la personne qui peut tout niquer. Après, on se souvient de quelques fois où il faisait sec et puis il a glissé, quoi.
What a competitor Bruni is. I love this shot. Bang, he's gone.
He said yesterday that he was happy with the result considering his run. He didn't feel like he executed as well as he wanted to. So to be as close to Jackson as he was surprised, and he thinks he has more in the tank.
In the green of the overall points leader as well, Bruni. You can see the LED lights in the top cap off his fork as that Olin's electronically adjustable suspension starts picking through its modes.
C'est bien, c'est bien. C'est ok, c'est ok.
Carrying great speed through there. Look how well this bike is tracking through the chunder.
Brosnan and Goldstone wait at the top. Nicely done through there.
You can see he's just on a bit of a harder dirt there, so he didn't get held up in the duff. This is flowing well here. He can feed into this speed as we get down to the crucial split 2 and split 3 sections.
Hey, Roger.
No static Loic is on his bike.
Oboka.
Underneath him, they work
How are you
so
going?
he can just ride it really consistently.
I hope
not
fine.
Move around too much. It takes a strong body to have
Hello,
that
Brazil.
position.
Yes.
It lets the bike do all the work.
Oboka. Hey, Roger was good, huh?
The bike sits into its mid.
The rider, the Brazil rider, Brazilian rider. He was good.
Then look at the apex, the cornering that he's taken. I'm sorry, I'm losing my words. I'm getting too excited. Look at the speed he's carrying through the apex of the corners here. Gets the double jump into the hole. This is looking good from Loic. He's going to bring back a little bit of time here, I think.
Ok. Peut-être qu'il rattrape un peu de temps. Est-ce que ça va être vert? Est-ce que ça va être vert?
It looks good from Bruni. Nearly got away from him there.
Yes. Already down.
Seconds back.
Well, he's got a good line through the middle there. That was from the outside to the inside.
Mais je vous dis, la chaîne pétée, ça te débloque un mental de fou. Il a changé son plan de course pour être le meilleur sans pédaler, et du coup, il a trouvé des trucs que les autres n'ont pas.
What are you seeing here, Nico? What are your eyes telling you?
He looks really consistent. I mean, Loic is another rider where it's hard to tell how fast he's going because he's so precise on the bike.
2.8 seconds back. He's lost more time now. 59.9 kilometers
Ah,
an hour.
merde.
There it is, that magic 3-second barrier, Josh. 165 beats per minute.
Alors peut-être.
Yeah, he's feeding
Alors
it now.
peut-être.
Everything is open and breathing as hard as he can. He's got to carry some good speed through here. Now, I think Loris lost a bit of time with this little step out.
We know he revs pretty low, so he's working hard here, Bruni.
Good exit speed coming out of that Michelin corner. This is where I expect Loic to thrive. He had a few issues down here earlier during the week, but now he'll be able to pay attention to that. He would have analysed the detail to carry good speed out of this exact corner.
Oh, he's an absolute joy to watch through here, Nico. 1.8 seconds back. He's found a second in there.
He's found a lot, but I don't know if there's enough track left.
I don't know if there's enough track left, but he needs to make it happen and be clean in these final couple of corners. Loic Bruni is on a charge all the way to the line here.
Bruni just bobbled slightly on the lower section there. Heads out into the open into Val di Sole. Sunlight. Sun's just dipped behind a cloud momentarily, but here comes Loic Bruni.
He's going to need to be the right side of the second here to get the points he needs for the overall.
The bright green jersey of the UCI World Cup overall points leader heads across the bridge and heads down towards the hot seat, or does he? Fourth place, 1.9 seconds back.
Il tombe 4.
Laurent Delorme, inscrutable at the finish. Bruni puffs the cheeks. Meanwhile, up top, Troy Brosnan getting ready to go. 2 to go here in Val di Sole, Trentino. Thibaut Deprella leads the way.
Troy. His mum and dad are back.
Est-ce qu'il va nous faire une dinguerie? J'y crois de moins en moins. Hein. J'y crois de moins en moins. Je crois que d'après là, elle nous a mis une vitesse à tous. Hein. À tous. Aux riders, aux pronostics, aux commentateurs, tous. Je crois que d'après là, c'est le run de sa vie. Hein. Un Gwyn remake.
Stays above that deep duffy dirt.
Brosnan leaves the Star Hut then. The man from Adelaide, 4 career wins to his name so far. If he gets another today, it would equal that of his team manager and downhill legend Fabien Barel. Hits that whole square.
It's interesting to see the different tire choices from the riders. I remember my first year here, 2010, Mark Beaumont won on full wet screens in the dry.
What? Mud tires, big old spikes on them. Brosnan really neatly through there. Look really, really good, Josh.
Now, I think these upper couple of turns, there's some time to be made. This is where Thibaut
Il
really
a mis des bonnes
accelerated with no
tailleurs.
chain, obviously.
Bon,
Troy
j'ai pas bien compris.
stepping out just a little bit. He's got to refocus.
Ouais, Goldstone, il reste Goldstone, mais
Main line, but he's carrying good speed.
franchement, je crois qu'on est tous baisés. Hein.
Much closer, 0.3.
Je crois que d'après là, nos amis de vitesse, hein, vraiment. Bon, 0.3, c'est pas mal. Hein. 0.3, c'est bien.
Yeah, it looks really good. I think we'll see from Troy and Jackson, the last two riders here. They're lighter riders, so those big compressions.
Ça serait bien que d'après la gagne. Juste pour l'histoire, quoi. Juste pour l'histoire. It would be nice if d'après la win, because
really, really tight
chainless,
line needed to
it's very amazing. Win remake.
Riding well, be a huge relief for him to qualify so fast in qualifying this week. He's been through Q2 the last couple of weeks, so for him to come out and qualify second in Q1 is a massive relief and a confidence boost that he needed.
Et Pierron, c'est toujours dessus. Ouais, ça dégoûte, Pierron, ça dégoûte. Le cheat code, c'est notre chaîne. C'est ça.
Maybe can match that intensity of Thibaut Deprella. Has to wiggle his way around that tree to his right hand side.
And if anyone loves the wiggle, it's
Il a touché l'arbre ou pas? J'ai pas compris. Il est bien, hein, 0-1, mais ça suffit pas pour les derniers virages là. Il faut faire un truc là.
One rider left at the top after this man, Troy Brosnan. Jackson Goldstone awaits, but can Brosnan outpace Deprella here in Val di Sole, Trentino?
He's got to get the backsides down this next section. This carries a lot of speed into the lower half. He almost tucked the front here last year, so he'll know exactly where he needs to clean up. He's had a good qualification. Butters the Scott step down.
1 second now.
Come on, Troy.
Free. What do you think of this, Nico Mullally, so
it looked
far?
like he just made a mistake in that turn right after the split there. But we saw Thibaut have a mistake in this section as well, so it may still be pretty tightly masked.
Well, best we've seen of Brosnan so far, another rider with that flight attendant suspension.
Charging hard. He's still right with it. Touch carrying extraordinary speed.
Wow!
That's a dab of foot, but loses absolutely nothing at all. He was 7th last time out in Liga. This is looking really, really strong here from Brosnan.
And a second faster in split 3 than what we've seen from Dylan Maples
He's faster by 0.4 of a second in split 4 for Brosnan now.
Come on, Troy Brosnan. Let's see what you got here, Turbo. He's got a couple of corners to go. This is where he excelled last year, coming home all the way to the finish line.
Fabian Burrell down the bottom might be about to see his wins tally equaled by his team member, Troy Brosnan. Brosnan out into the open, heads towards the finish arena here in Val di Sole, Trentino. Roared on 62 kilometers an hour through the speed trap. Enters the right-hander. Here comes Troy Brosnan down the line. Is he about to go fast enough to take his 5th UCI Downhill World Cup win? Brosnan goes by 9/10 of a second. Trentino. What a run from the Australian.
Oh, Baden and Chris will be in the grandstands lifting the roof off it. Fabian Burrell. See your record go to a better point. Troy Brosnan is one of the hardest working athletes out there, and that was a run he will remember.
Ce qu'il a mis! Oh la légende! Ah, ça fait chier pour d'après là, mais en même temps, quel run de fou! Allez, c'est parti, le dernier chat. Les mains en l'air, le dernier rider! Ça va être long pendant 4 minutes, tes mains en l'air, mais c'est parti! Ne pas me dire non plus! Attention, on pourra baisser les mains si le troisième c'est rouge. Calmez-vous là, c'est qui qui crie comme ça là? Plus de gaz, plus de gaz! Up chat!
He's so good at this rock section. He's able to skip a lot of the big holes.
J'ai déjà posé les mains sur la tête.
He's just bouncing down the track and able to do a lot more pickups than a lot of the other riders.
Yeah, look at the speed he's carrying already. Just carrying some great speed through the apex of those early corners. That style Nico's talking about really evident in the first split, and the time is about to tell us.
Ok, c'est ok, c'est ok.
brought him equal.
It's fine. It's fine.
Troy Brosnan, Danny Hart, Chris Kavarik. Another win would take him above them all.
Come on, Jackson.
A tenth of a second.
Inside line there. That's the first rider we've seen take that inside
Il
high
fait
line.
des petits ponts de cabri là. Hop, hop, hop.
A fifth win here with
Oh, c'est propre ça, j'adore.
You see, he did a triple into that turn from the left side of the track.
He held
it tighter, didn't cover as much distance, but still got the jump in.
And that's what we're getting used to seeing from him. That accuracy and aggression. And
c'est long, baissez les mains. C'est long. On lèvera les mains à la fin.
And one rider that may not
Ça va déjà
suffer
saouler.
from as many rear flat tires like we've seen of others, because he's lighter, he can dance through it, and there's literally 10, if not 20 kilos less.
Ça m'a l'air un peu lent.
Going through that rear wheel.
Mais on va voir.
Jackson Goldstone single-handedly changing the face of downhill.
And look at the face of Loic Bruni in the finish area, watching on. Bruni knows that he wants to keep that green jersey as we head to the fifth round. And this is his big rival.
C'est presque vert, hein.
Just over. Oh, look at the jump through the trees. Just over 100th of a second back now. Goldstone yet to turn the split
Il
line
faut qu'il se
screen.
calme le commentateur là.
Can't really get any closer than this. They may as well start from here.
Yeah, Goldstone looking absolutely superb. Rattles that pole on the way through. This is where he will get to
Wow.
big V10
Wow.
underneath him.
C'est le Black Snake qui lui met un coup dans la roue là. Ça va vite, hein, ça va vite.
Jackson Goldstone into the green.
Ouais, Pito, merci. Merci pour le follow. Thank you.
More routes the better for the Squamish native. Troy Brosnan watches on the finish. He's 1.3 seconds faster now at the third split for Jackson Goldstone. Is he about to
Pardon?
make it 3 in a row? Nobody's done it since Danny Hart in 2016.
You know, he's a lot cleaner through this section. A nice jump in.
Ah, ça pompe, hein. Il est propre le type.
So I expect him to extend this here if he can hit
Ah, la
these
piste elle est
tight
giga longue.
Goldstone ultra aggressive.
Wow.
Hung on to it.
Has that cost them the win today? Goldstone will need to get him down to the next split before we
Il est chaud, il est chaud, il est chaud.
Gets back all his ducks in a line. Goldstone continues to attack 1.6. He's extended by 0.3 of a second now. Doesn't even need to.
He jumps off the off-camber step down. What is happening in front of us?
Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Je vais péter mon crâne.
Huge pull for Jackson Goldstone. Is this going to be enough? Is this going to be his third win on the bounce? Is it going to be a free-peat for Goldstone? Hangs on to it through the left-hand corner. 1 to go, then he just has to cross the bridge. Here comes Jackson Goldstone. Is it going to be 3 in a row in 2025 for the Santa Cruz Syndicate? Jackson Goldstone wins by 2.4 seconds in Val di Sole, Trentino. The first rider to do 3 in the bounce since Danny Hart in 2016. What a run from that man!
That was incredible. The sections that he made
Putain de merde.
through the rocks and the roots. That was iconic and absolutely spectacular from Jackson Goldstone. This is 3 rounds in a row. This is unheard of. This young man from Canada is changing the face of our Downhill World Cup series and is here.
Oh my God.
And absolutely smashing it. What a great result from Troy Brosnan to be there. One of the best against one of the brand new.
Et je termine la prédiction.
His dad is down there as well. Jackson Goldstone celebrating with him. Deprella is there as well.
Oh, what the fuck, mec.
Petey, though, likes what he sees.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Love your work. Peace out.
Et il y a 1000 points de chaîne qui vont à RPX. Bravo RPX pour les points de chaîne. Putain, il s'est régalé là.
He was right on pace from the
Oh, les
first
points
2
de chaîne.
splits and then just built from there. We saw from the other 2 riders on the podium a small
Oh
mistake
là
in
là
the
là
third
là là.
sector, and he just didn't have that.
Goldstone is gonna take some stopping in 2025.
Incroyable.
We need to get a camera
Et
on Lloyd
Potage
Bruni.
qui donne à boire au chat. Enfin, à manger. Le petit chat là.
Get his reaction to that one.
Merci mec.
Missing the entire season last year with injury.
Incroyable.
I think there was some question marks on how he would recover from it. He obviously was an amazing talent the year before, but to come back and win 3 out of 4 races to start the season, he can hardly do it any better.
That will give him the overall points lead, but his time was
Kitty qui donne à boire au chat, let's go.
Brosnan 341.2.
Putain mais non mais c'est une dinguerie ce qu'il a mis.
There is Bruni and Deprella.
Deprella, il est un peu deg.
Today, Bruni watches.
Oh,
what a shot that was.
On voit le regard là, il est un peu deg.
That's not what Bruni was hoping to see, I'll tell you that.
He knows that Piron is going to miss a couple of rounds.
Il a fait une run incroyable.
But Nico, talk us through some of these scenes.
He just looks really precise here. Light on the bike. He's able to gap over a lot of the holes, set up really well, open this turn. And even when he gets out of shape a little bit right here, gets further left than he wants to, it doesn't slow him down. He's able to be relaxed on the bike and still get the next
Oh,
run.
wow.
There's so much technical stuff on this track that if he almost clipped the tree there when he hit it.
Yeah.
If he can just be relaxed and get back to it, he's so good at that. Like he's used to being in these situations that it doesn't faze him at all.
Syndicate.
That pull as well, and just, you're right, just that ability to reset mid-run and not be phased.
It's easy to be put off when you have a
Putain,
big
le
moment
mec.
like that. And
Incroyable,
no
incroyable.
issue for Jackson.
But some of the stuff in there, some of those little triples and double jumps, just ridiculously technical at the speed he's traveling at.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what he's known for. He's always jumping stuff, doing northern lines on track. Looks like he's almost having fun with the track, but then doing it at a rapid pace that's a few seconds quicker than anyone else.
You have to feel for Troy Brosnan on a day like today. It feels like more than anyone, he's had so many of those second places at races that could have, should have gone his way, but he'd be happy with second, but not as happy as he would have been, obviously, if he got the win done today.
Yeah, almost in the situation where he's at the bottom, he's in the lead, and there's one guy to go. It's like, it's a kind of anticlimactic way to take it.
Here are the results then. Goldstone from Brosnan, Deprelli are top three. Maples up in fourth ahead of his teammate Vergier. Bruni in sixth. Zwar held on for seventh. Williams, Shaw, Ronan Dunn in 10th. Luke Meyer-Smith ahead of Entrozzi and Oisin O'Callaghan. Benoit Coulange, Simon Chapelet.
Putain, incroyable. Je suis sans voix. J'ai pas les mots. C'était incroyable.
What could have been from him in 20th.
Ah, avant que j'oublie, j'aimerais encore remercier Zombieland pour son sub. Hein. Incroyable. Merci beaucoup encore, hein, Zombieland. Thank you. Thank you for the prime.
Breeden and Cole DNF.
Incroyable.
Hectic day here in Val di Sole, Trentino. What a race. Classic downhill, last rider at the top of the hill, getting the win. Well, the good news is we can head down there now to your winner today. Jackson Goldstone is with Ashley Wilmot at the bottom. Let's hear from the man himself.
Enjoy your time in Val di Sole.
Jackson Goldstone is gold standard once again. 3 victories on the bounce. Wow, where did that come from?
Oh man, that was a really good run from today. I felt like I was hitting all my lines good. There was moments I had my foot out, like dabbing 3 times in that one soft one, but man, yeah, that just came from a lot of motivation from the past 2 wins, and then just the confidence build in practice and everything. It just felt like it was going to happen. So yeah, I was confident in my run the whole way down. I felt like I left nothing out there, and yeah, that was a good one.
You were also first in the first qualifying, so it has just been an absolute storm of a week for you.
Yeah, that's 1-1-1. I've never done that before, so yeah, I can't believe I get to add my name to that list.
You're also making a little bit of history because we haven't seen a rider win the first, third and fourth round since Amaury Piron back in 2016. So what does that mean to you?
Well, second, third, fourth, not first.
Second, third and fourth. Sorry, my apologies. Back in 2016.
Yeah, man, that's a crazy stat to be a part of. And yeah, I felt like, everyone was talking about, oh, can you do the three-peat? Can you do the three-peat? And yeah, I'm just so proud to be able to do it.
There's a lot of hype around you right now, and also you're now 100 points clear of Loic Bruni. You're taking the overall.
Sick.
Was that the goal?
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to do the best I can every single race, and no matter where I end up, as long as I'm happy with my run, I'm happy, and I've been happy with these last 3 runs, and they've been winning runs. So yeah, I just need to keep up that momentum and keep pushing. I've got some good training block next week at the APC, so stoked to go you know, work my brains out there and then be prepped for the wheel. But
Il a dépassé Bruni en points. Hein.
Good timing. Well done today.
Thank you.
Jackson Goldstone does it again. Where does he find those
Je voulais juste
A courageous, clean run to bring him over the line,
2 secondes, j'arrive.
finding time that no one else could. Moving past Troy Brosnan on the hot seat to claim the win as the last man down the mountain. What a performer Jackson Goldstone is. What a special run from that young man. He's won once, he's won twice. He has secured a hat trick of wins, and he's won here today, Anna, in Val di Sole. Did you see that coming? I know before we were talking about, oh, Jackson Goldstone, he's the man to beat, but to do it in that way with such a blistering time.
Yeah, his run was absolutely insane, especially with the added pressure of getting the three-peat. His run was nothing short of incredible. Super smooth, consistent. We saw a few mistakes from him, but it didn't hold him back. Yeah, of course, we were watching on, and we just couldn't figure out how he made up that much time, Charlie, in those bottom two sections.
Well, I still haven't figured it out, but in one section he unclipped and had a foot out around the corner, and he still came out of that section extending his lead. So, yeah, he's doing something pretty special out there.
Josh, have you figured it out?
I think he was just, we thought about this prior, that lighter rider, he was drifting across a lot of those deep pockets where he could accelerate through. Now, Troy had a similar scenario. He can really accelerate through those deep, dry sections. And man, Jackson just found some lines out there that no one else had found. He was jumping holes and double jumps that we didn't even realize existed, and rode in a way, in a style and a flair that is one of a kind. Look at the foot coming out here as he gets a little Tokyo drift action. We thought that would cost him some more time, but I think he had such a buffer that he could just feed it the whole way to the line. And man, what an athlete, what a rider, and what a run, what a day.
Yeah, and you watch second place. You know, it's amazing to see how tight it was, and how it didn't seem to be like anyone could make up those seconds, Charlie. And then suddenly he's finding time. I guess it's, as Josh said, some of those lines. What's happening there?
Yeah, well, especially in the bottom half, he made up lots of time. He was kind of sitting on that on the buffer, right in between the red and green, and then on the second half of the track, he just found another level and then put seconds into everyone else. So he's obviously fit and strong, and he's come back from that injury at the start of the year, you know, and now he's just swinging.
My goodness me. And it's, I guess as well, physically, it's a bit like what you were saying about Monica Rasnik as well. He's, you know, he's obviously a smaller rider, Anna, and he's able to exploit his advantages.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not the biggest rider, but I think this race was a testament to just how strong he is, even if he doesn't look like the biggest dude. Even if he visually isn't as big as Amaury or Loic, he's such a strong athlete, and yeah, really impressive for him to make up so much time at the bottom when you're so tired.
Yeah, he is. He may look a little smaller than all of the rest of them, but he's a titan among these downhill riders. Jackson Goldstone wins again today, and what a performance from the Canadian to do the three-peat. But of course, Josh, when there's a winner, there has to be a second place as well. Troy Brosnan looking so good down that mountain.
Oh, second place for Troy Brosnan. It was just a couple of weeks ago. We were talking in Ludenville, and he was a bit lost. He didn't know what to do, and here he absolutely executed incredibly. He was riding super fast. He went for the dry tyres, which was a big advantage. He nailed this section in front of us right now, and this is a run that he should be proud of. His mum and dad are here today to watch, and I could see them both crying in the crowd. And a second place for Troy Brosnan. It's not the win, so Fabian will be happy, but it's an incredible result for him, and an amazing opportunity to compete against Jackson Goldstone here in Val di Sole.
Representing all of Oceania, Charlie.
Yeah, that was so exciting to watch. I was getting goosebumps as he was coming down the hill, and he actually looked a little bit more on the limit than Jackson. Jackson was quite composed, whereas Troy, yeah, he was really pushing. So that was an insane run from him. Hopefully he can back it up in the tweel too.
And we talk about Jackson's size a lot. Troy is littler too, but just the skill set, the commitment from Jackson, I don't think we give that enough credit. The way he has the ability to lock in and focus on the track at hand. This track requires so much attention to detail. Those lines that he had out there, no one else was even close. So the credit, we can talk about his weight and his arm pump and the braking, which is definitely a thing compared to someone like Loic or Richie Rude. We've spoken about this before, but Jackson Goldstone is riding these downhill tracks in a way that no one else has the ability or potential talent to do. And it's really incredible, and a kudos to him and his potential.
That's a fascinating point. Yeah, Richie Rude, of course, not. We didn't see him today, didn't make it through qualifying, but it's a fascinating point to make about Jackson Goldstone, because obviously in the build-up we spoke about, we watched the runs, Loic Bruni and him sitting down together to talk about their runs. And I think you said, or maybe it was you, Charlie, oh, well, Jackson's kind of like, oh, you know, I just did this and that, and I don't even really know. And Loic's like really focusing in on it. But is that just a pose? Is that real?
No, that's real. I think he's a young dude. He's got it all in front of him. He's been through that rise and wave of being a professional, and Jackson's been, he's not a kid, he's a young adult, but he's still young in comparison to some of our biggest names like Troy. Troy and Loic have been around for years. Amory, Loris, Tebow, they've all been around for many, many years. Jackson's, it's hard to remember, but this is only his second full season. Last year he was out with injury. 23, he was on debut for the elite ranks and he won twice. So we're looking at the beginning of something spectacular, and Jackson Goldstone is going to change the level and change the face of Downhill World Cup in the best way possible.
Yeah, we could be looking at the start of a full Goldstone era, but all sorts of men on that hill hoping to work against that, including today's second place finisher, Troy Brosnan.
Troy, oh my days. It's tough at the top. This competition is heating up, and you were just pipped at the post right at the very end. But what a run from you today.
Yeah, I honestly can't believe it. I've been struggling at the start of this year. I think it was really hard coming back last year and you know, winning Mont Saint Anne and trying to repeat that straight away, and I just found it hard. So I worked really, really hard with Canyon and SRAM to really get the bike working here, and it made the biggest progress ever. So yeah, to come second in qualifying and now to come second today right behind Jackson, it's amazing. And obviously he's riding beyond anyone else. So it's obviously not a win, but it feels so close, and I'm really happy.
The best result for you so far this season, and your mum and dad are in the crowd as well. So does that make it even more special?
Oh, of course. You know, when they come here, it's amazing just for them to watch and be here. But they obviously lift me a little bit, and even Jackson's mum and dad's here, and obviously works for him. So yeah, to have him here all the way through to Andorra is awesome, and hopefully we can keep this momentum going.
Big celebrations tonight?
A little bit. I think a beer is earned. I got a lot of dust in my throat that I need to get rid of.
Well, have fun with that. Well done today, Troy.
Thank you so much.
Rueful-looking Troy Brosnan coming in second place there. And Anna, I know, we're excited to see Dylan Maple so close to being on the podium today. What did he do particularly well out there?
Yeah, super awesome to see him coming to fourth. A really good result for him. He's slowly made his way up throughout the elite ranks and just has been super strong all season. He had really smooth, strong ride through it, really steady, built up his speed throughout the race, got faster and faster as he went on, and really awesome to see him up there with the rest of the muck-off team.
Awesome. Maybe building up to a podium in the near future, which is what we're watching just now. Your top three finishers, Thibaut de Prayer, Troy Brosnan, and Jackson Goldstone. Yeah.
Ah, merci.
Merci.
Ouais, je disais, d'après là, il mérite beaucoup. Hein. Il a fait un run de fou. Et je dis, après, il y a ce monstre. Et malheureusement, il y a pas le bonhomme Michelin, je disais, Goldstone, j'ai fait une petite blague, mais enfin, j'étais mute, chier, merde. Merci RPX. RPX qui se met bien avec les points de chaîne. Hein. On fera un petit concours de points de chaîne. Il faudrait que je regarde si je peux récupérer, voir qui c'est qui a combien. Comme ça, on fait un petit concours à la fin là. Ouais, calmez-vous, un concours chill. Hein.
And he had to make it happen today on a track that definitely wasn't any better than what it was
Champagne.
yesterday. So really, really incredible ride.
Yeah, and of course we've been in the dust all weekend. We know what impact it has to the guys and girls going down the hill, and he just handled it with such grace. You know, he just.
What goes back to the team.
Il va one-shot la bouteille comme la dernière fois là.
Both performing Luca rode really well today, so there's a lot in the team atmosphere as well. The Santa Cruz Syndicate's got Steve Pete at the helm at the moment, and Seb Kemp is here as well. A lot goes into that. Jackson's mum and dad is here. They're a huge supporter of him being on the podium.
Bon, écoutez, chat, moi je vais vous laisser là-dessus. C'était un super moment que j'ai passé avec vous. Une course de... Oh, le bouchon dans la gueule. Putain, il a failli se rendre aveugle.
downhill mountain bike racing. And
Incroyable. Moi, je vous laisse là-dessus. Merci beaucoup d'avoir été présent comme d'habitude. Vous étiez une chier là du Brésil, de Colombie, de France, j'imagine Belgique aussi. Bref, merci à tous. Merci à comment il s'appelle. J'ai déjà oublié. Ah oui, Zombieland pour le sub, incroyable pour le Prime. Merci à tous les autres follow, vous êtes incroyables. Et puis je vous laisse sur ces belles images. Merci à Critique d'être toujours là, c'est vraiment le GOAT. Et puis voilà quoi, à la prochaine. Demain, le VTT suit uniquement sur Discord. Et puis à la prochaine course de notre descente. Hein? Pas de bêtises. Merci beaucoup. À la prochaine. Et cette fois, je me mute. Voilà. Je vous laisse les images, puis après, je mettrai, quand vous entendrez Justice the End, ça sera la fin. Allez, les bisous. Salut, salut.
Anna Newkirk standing next to me and not able to come down the hill in today's race, but she is still in 4th place. Good on you. Tani Seagrave, Gracie Hamstreet, Valley Hall. That is your top 4. And if we could just cast our minds back kind of a couple of hours or so to talk about that women's race. Anna, I know you were obviously gutted to be here with us instead of coming down and trying to take this thing on. But what do you feel like we learned from watching the women go down here earlier today?
I think this really showed how tight the women's field is at the moment, how competitive it is. The times were so tight. Usually Val di Sole offers pretty big gaps between the riders, especially in the women's field, but the times were super tight. Marine winning by just under 2 seconds. Really, really strong ride for her. So awesome to see so many different winners as well and people on the podium. We've had a pretty big variety on women on the podium, which is really cool to see. And yeah, the field is super strong, which we like.
Well, we'll hope to see you back in that field again, Anna, as soon as we can. Although you've got to take it easy. You've got to rest up. Don't go crazy. And of course, Tani Seagrave, not the best day for her, but still in with a shout in those overall standings. I guess Gracie Hemstreet, Charlie, probably after what we've seen the last 2 wins from her, probably feeling a little bit disgruntled, but finishing off the podium.
Yeah, when your normal level becomes 1st place, then you're only disappointed after that. So she'll be hungry for the next one, and she got down in good form. So I think maybe just a little bit of reassessment. She'll be chatting with Greg and the team, and she'll be back fighting that win again. She knows how to win now, so she can keep doing it.
Okay, as you can hear, things are kicking off in Val di Sole Trentino, because we have enjoyed the most unbelievable day of downhill racing. It has been scintillating from start to finish. We have loved having you with us for every single minute of this one. The Black Snake produced some racing that was as special as we have come to expect, and in the end we have such fitting winners out there who are taking the plaudits, drinking the champagne or Prosecco, whatever it is, as a result of what they've achieved today. This is what we have to come tomorrow morning. Please join us from 9:30 a.m. First of all, it's the women's XCO. The men follow pretty much straight on, but you can join us for the entire time if you want, or you can watch it back on Discovery Plus. Please do join us for that one. We have loved having you here today in Val di Sole. Don't worry, there is plenty more to come, and you can watch all of our live coverage across all the TNT Sports networks. Josh, Charlie, Anna, it's been a dream. We'll see you soon.